Thank you.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
A new era for American cricket began in 2021.
There it goes into a dive! What a catch!
The rise of cricket was celebrated across the country. Now, with big wickets and even bigger hits, the stars of minor league cricket are back and better than ever.
Primus goes huge!
Don't miss the nation's largest league competing for the biggest prize in American cricket. The Toyota Minor League Championship returns this summer, live on Willow TV.
The 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco, live from the Prairie View Cricket Complex in Houston, Texas, for a fantastic final day of this holiday weekend, which has produced so much blockbuster action. Today's matchup on this 4th of July holiday, the SoCal Lashings up against the Seattle Thunderbolts. Both teams continuing to build the momentum in this tournament. Cricket commentator Suhas Vedam alongside me. Suhas, come to the end of a weekend. Very important that these teams finish strongly in this tournament.
First of all, a very good morning, Nikhil. Very good morning to everyone watching. Absolutely right. You want to finish strong so that when you pack your bags from Seattle, you have good memories and lovely momentum going ahead.
Well, definitely. Both these teams coming from the California side of this. Of course, both teams in the Pacific Conference, and it's very important that, of course, they go back and return home ahead of a big couple of weeks upcoming for these teams with that momentum on their side. Here's a look at the Pacific Conference. We're now down to just 2 unbeaten teams, the Silicon Valley Strikers and the Mustangs. These two teams, well, the Thunderbolts, they're in good position, while the Lashings, well, they need some wins under their belt.
They certainly do. They found some momentum in the last game with their key players clicking, looking for their second win to get on to 6 points.
Well, let's have a look at the toss where we had the two captains in the middle. New captaincy for the Lashings, Dale Phillips, alongside Harmeet Singh. And in the end, the toss being won by Dale Phillips, who opted to have first knock, which is a very surprising decision given the fact that the Lashings have bowled first in all 4 of their matchups so far. So looking to change something as they look to change their fortune. Well, we've had our good friend at the MLC Network, Nate Hayes. Every day he's provided fantastic analysis. Let's hear what Nate has to say about the final day today.
Yesterday, I talked about how Seattle is a community and a team on the rise. And then they went out and beat St. Louis, another team and community that's on the rise. Now they play a team from a community that's got a lot longer of a history, and that is the SoCal Lashings. The Lashings are struggling at 1-3, but they do have some match winners, most notably Elmore Hutchinson. But you need to get Ellie in a spot where he can win you the game. Katani Clark can use some help to take the innings deep enough for Ellie to cash in. Seattle looks hungry and capable to me. Third in the West, just behind Golden State and only by run rate. And while close games are a blast to watch, Seattle are going to want to close the gap. Enjoy this Western Division premium game.
That indeed, Nate. Very hard not to enjoy this delicious encounter. The Lashings, well, unchanged team for them, except for the captain, Dale Phillips. He'll be leading now, the man from New Zealand. And looking, of course, with the likes of Fernando, Elmore Hutchinson, Akash Veer Singh, and Sanjit Sandhu, who's taken the most wickets to help that bowling attack when they do have the ball in hand.
Yeah, the Thunderbolts going with Rahul Singh, Rishi Bharadwaj up top. Harmeet Singh would be the skipper. Sahil gets a game today. Fani Simadri has been terrific ever since he's packed his bags and moved. Rohan Posanapalli, Shadley, well, Andres Akhilesh, Adam Crosswhite, and his brother James will also find home here.
Yeah, 2 changes for the Thunderbolts today. Bharadwaj makes his debut for the Thunderbolts in this tournament. Of course, making the switch from the Atlantic Conference. The 2 openers, Katani Clark, the man who's scored the most runs. He's taken this tournament by storm. Could have easily had 100 in the very first game for the Lashings. Fell short on 99.
And just continued his form from there on. 41 of 18 in the previous game as well. Set the game up nicely, set the chase up nicely for SoCal Lashings.
Van Schalkwyk, Shadley Van Schalkwyk, the man with the new ball. He's been Mr. Reliable for this team. Mr. All-Rounder as well in terms of his runs and wickets. But he struggled this season to start. So he'll be looking to make a big comeback. Van Schalkwyk.
Yeah, compared to all his performances in 2022, ever since the season started, less swing for him. He's relied more on cross-seam deliveries as well, but he's used them very wisely.
We're just about underway in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. Very important clash for the Thunderbolts. They'll be full of confidence, having won by some 70 runs yesterday. The Lashings are the story much different. Blown away by the Lone Star Athletics. Here we go, first delivery. Full delivery, asking the question early. Likes to be there with that slip in place. Always hard, Suhas, to recover. Yesterday, the Lashings were blown away. And today, they've opted to change their approach to in this encounter.
I think they've looked at the surface as well. They feel it won't change much. And at the same time, there isn't much moisture, as we usually see in the morning games. They've decided to bat first, calling the right side of the coin.
Coming down the track, very fortunate. Katani Clark, if you watch him in these 4 games so far for the Lashings, he's so strong full because of that range down the ground. So a bold move by Van Schalkwyk to start with the 2 fielders up inside the circle. He's just got a deep mid-wicket and a third man as the 2 out in this first 6. So you can expect him to go to that good length pretty often, but I like what Clark is doing. He's trying to counter that by coming down the track. First runs off the bat for the Lashings. Clark.
Yeah, good length's always a great option. Would like to see him pitch it a little further up, invite Clark into that drive, even though Clark is trying to use his feet to counter that little bit of swing that Shadley might be getting initially. But the slip is in place. You want to see that outside edge, don't you?
Early morning start, 10 a.m. CDT time here in Houston, Texas. Temperatures expect to get to 99 degrees today. It will be a scorching day and a tough one for the Lashings, who have 2 games today. Harpreet Singh now off the mark as well. Definitely important for this opening pair that they get off to a good start. They've struggled in this tournament and they rely heavily on the top three. You look at the 4 games, 31, 7, 24 and 11 for Harpreet Singh and Katani Clark. So both have got to pull their weight. Some of that inward movement to Singh.
It's good to see that the ball's moving when it's leaving the hand of Shadley.
Love that, because it's back in the surface. Clark loves to go down the ground. You watch that 99 Suhas against the Grizzlies. I would have seen it in LA at Woodley Park. What they did in terms of the Grizzlies, in terms of the length, they went too full too often. Anytime they went length, he was happy to just knock it down the ground into the offside for one. So that is the optimum length you want to bowl to Katani Clark, especially early on. Real good start to the over by the Thunderbolts, continuing where they left off yesterday, 2 for none.
Quick.
The SoCal Lashings winning the toss and saying we got to bat first. Katani Clark is taking his time just to get a feel of what this surface has to offer. Harpreet Singh alongside him has just opened his account.
Yeah, is
Covering leg stop.
he's at number 11 on this list, but Dale Phillips, almost in all 4 of the matches, coming at number 3. He's their overseas pro for this Lashings team, a team that's in dire need of a win. Akhilesh Badugam comes into the attack. What a performance from him yesterday, 2 for 15 in his 4 overs. On a rate of less than 4.
He looks like a different bowler altogether once you give him a turf surface. Akhilesh Bodugam very vertically blessed, so he gives you that extra bit of bounce as well. Loves to invite the batter into the drive. Now has 2 men patrolling the boundary ropes in the first 6 overs. So it's got to be spot on with the line and length. Anything wide, Harpreet will go after him. Anything short, Harpreet will swivel it.
Yeah, a lot on the shoulders of this man, Harpreet Singh. He was a revelation for this team in the first season, but he struggled so far. Such a classy player. In that same game against the Grizzlies, I saw him play a cover drive out of this world. And that, I thought, you know, if it was almost sort of like he was in the same rhythm as that 2021 season, but so far he's struggled, Singh, to find that bit of rhythm, to find those runs at the top. Has to be better, Harpreet Singh. On the leg side. Have to rebowl that one, Badogam. Excellent length. What Badogam does so well, bowl 2 overs for his captain inside the power play. We know the difficulties, especially as a spinner, with just 2 allowed outside the circle to bowl, but because he's so flat and quick, it doesn't give the batters time.
Spot on, Nikhil, and what that also allows is Harmeet to bowl when the batters are coming after them.
Just be 1.
And that sort of increases Harmeet's efficacy as well.
Watch. Levin's getting a ball on the back.
We'll have to rotate his options well. Harmeet Singh, the skipper for this Thunderbolts team, especially bowling to Clark, a man that's in form. As the overseas, the marquee option for the SoCal Lashings team. You need the wicket early. Can't let him get away in this innings. Good delivery. Because of that extra height, getting a bit of extra bounce. It's very hard to cut. We've seen that from the spinners throughout this holiday weekend at Prairie View.
And what's been wonderful to watch is the fact that he's pushing it forward.
Almost could have been the first chance. A misfield though, has to hurry. Harpreet Singh gets there in the end quite comfortably. But that previous delivery, which was missed by Clark, what was key there is it came out the side of the hand. So Badogam showing he has that leg break option.
It's something that he's been working on. bit of misfield that should have been stopped.
Love this from Budogan. Pushes one wide, but has to re-bowl it. So you can see the intent, trying to push the ball as wide as possible outside the off stump, especially to Harpreet Singh, a man that likes the ball very close, so he can play those drives, especially with mid-off up in the circle. Has to be very precise. Such a small, fine margin of error inside the power play for any spinner, any bowler, really. Harpreet Singh was 3/4 way in. He's going all the way back to the boundary now at long on. Of course, the deep mid-wicket as well for the ball spinning in to the right-hander. This will be runs. Gets it fine. There is a man in the circle, but will have some work to do, and it's a quick outfield. He won't be able to cut it off. So the first boundary for the SoCal Lashings, and that will do them and the opening pair a lot of good. They need runs from these two.
2 overs gone, 10 for no loss.
Oh, I don't know.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom.
Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At SoCal, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Charlie Van Skalvik will come into the attack for his second over with this brand new ball, looking to make a difference for his team. Aerial, but just doesn't carry to Crosswhite at extra cover. Asking the right questions on that length. Well, so as I had a look at the conditions early on, a lot of green grass, and actually this far left surface that they're using at the Prairie View Cricket Complex, it wasn't expected to be used, but because it's played so well and because that green grass has been maintained, they've opted to go to it for all of these games, all 3 of the days, in terms of Saturday, Sunday, and now Monday on this surface. It's held up really well.
It's held up really well, and on top of it, it's drying very quickly. Thanks to the Texas sun. No matter how much you water it, it's always ready and recuperated for the next game.
Aerial, but he hasn't got enough power on it. Crosswhite calls, he's running back, always going to be tough, and puts it down. Big let-off for Katani Clark. You have to take those chances against a man that's so powerful at the top of the order.
Shatley creates half an opportunity. The ball swerves in the air. Adam Crosswhite never looked settled under it, but he was the one to call for it. Akhilesh Bodhakam was ready to get there too. Adam said, don't come near me, let me handle this sphere. Swerved too much in the end.
Slow delivery, excellent change of pace from Van Skalvik. You mentioned a slow start to the season for Charlie Van Skalvik, a man that picked up 20 wickets last season, only 4 though, with an economy of over 10s. He's got to be much better. He's a crucial performer for this Thunderbolts team.
Yeah, what's been heartwarming to see from the Thunderbolts point of view is that one of their key bowlers is still struggling to get back into form, and the others are supporting them really well.
Good shout, but maybe just sliding down the leg side. Hit very high on that leg, but it hasn't been easy for Katani Clark, a man that, yes, he struggled in the last game, but the game before, 41 from 18, but they've been very reliant on him. Leading run score for them with 154 runs. Definitely missing. Good shout though by Van Skalvik.
Just 2 of the first 4. What a brilliant start to this game in 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by SoCal.
Again being full, but the key thing is, you know that Clark likes the full deliveries, so if you want to go full with that option, bringing that offside field into play, what he's doing so well, Van Skalvik, is angling the ball into the body, making him flick the ball with protection in the deep. It's good bowling, good planning from the Thunderbolts, who were excellent with the ball yesterday, restricting the Americans to 108 for 8 in 20 overs.
Just get a feeling the batter has missed out on that opportunity. Could have whipped it past backward square.
Yeah, he's been on the money, Van Skalvik. So important that he starts well, gets in a rhythm, and just 3 runs from the over. 2 on a leg by, 13 for none.
SoCal Lashings getting to 13. It's been a cautious start. Katini Clark, who can cover up any time. 4 of 12. Don't go by those numbers. Harpreet Singh's getting into the act as well with that runner ball 6. A long way to go.
Scorching day in Fairview, Houston, Texas, of course. Saw yesterday humidity levels got up to 95%. Never easy for not only batters but fielding teams as well to be spending that amount of time, over an hour and a half in this sun. Don't feel the real wrath at this stage early morning, but when it gets to midday, sort of the beginning of the second innings of this game, from there on in, well, good luck to those in the middle. Good luck to us in the contain as well. Heating up all around.
What's the problem? Hari!
Give away of Suhas. Good to always be part of the action, right in the middle. All the action happening around. I can tell you, some batters have looked at this red container, have targeted it. It's been struck a couple of times.
Let's go, boys! Let's go!
Akhilesh Badogam, his second over. Saw this exactly from Harmeet Singh yesterday. 2 for Van Skalvik, 2 for Badogam in the power play.
Well done!
Goes through the man in the circle. It's going to be more runs. It's a quick outfield. Just wondered, did he get a hand on it to just slow it up? He won't get to the boundary, but Katini Clark will come back for 3.
Rahul Singh, usually terrific moving to either side. On that occasion, unable to stop the ball, but did get a hand to it, which reduced the pace. Otherwise, with this kind of an outfield, the ball would have been fetched from outside the fence. Harpreet Singh, a quiet start for him. He'll be telling himself it's a matter of 1 good shot, 1 from the middle of the bat. Interestingly, Harmeet is as straight a long off you can get.
Prescription, boys, it's prescription.
The long off is also 10 yards inside the circle with slip in place as well. What does this suggest to you? Where exactly is Akhilesh going to bowl the line?
We'll go straight into the onside. There is a man in the deep, but Harpreet Singh, when he hits it, it stays hit. Not even much effort required. Gets another boundary, and that will help Singh, who's struggled in this tournament, but a very important contributor.
Yeah, the important aspect of this shot, didn't hurry onto it, didn't look itchy at all, believed he'll get a poor delivery, and once he did so, just guiding it to the fence.
Get to your question, Harmeet Singh, he was at long on, he has mid-off up in the circle, and of course a mid-wicket. So obviously with the ball from the off-spinner spinning into the right-handers, a pretty standard field. You can see Harmeet Singh moved from that long on position to have a word with his bowler, but he likes to be at long on, pretty much does long on to long on because of the importance of that fielding position. That mid-wicket fielder, a lot of area to cover. What's key there though is look how far in he is, not directly on the boundary. So they're trying to put pressure and not give away too many easy runs with that big square boundary. Much better correction in terms of the length from Badogam. Just be a single though, won't mind that too much. The Thunderbolts.
And SoCal Lashings getting a move on. 8 runs of the first 3 balls of this over. Both of them proving to be a little expensive. Still persisting with the slip.
This time to the offside. Excellent stop by Crosswhite and wanted to run. Harpreet Singh wisely sent back in the end. what's key and what I think will excite the Thunderbolts is yesterday they were able to restrict the Americans to 37 for 2 in the first 6 overs. That set them up to be really restricted in the back 10. So they only got up to 108 and it was set up by the first 6. They're doing well so far to keep them less than a run a ball for the first 3.4 overs.
Okay.
See there, most of the deliveries to Clark, most of these 15 deliveries they bowled to him,
Finish strong now, boys. Finish strong
very few
now.
have been full. When they have been full, they've been straight. So clearly they've done their planning, done their homework. This is good and a good approach. Good strategy from Singh and his men. The inside edge and will run away. Work to be done for the man at that fine leg position, and he won't get there. So Rahul Singh has had to chase the ball there a couple of times. Another boundary, a good way to end the over. An expensive one for the Thunderbolts. 12 coming from it, 25 for none.
I'll go now.
Katani Clark and Harpreet Singh getting a move on, 11 apiece, 25 for no loss in 4. SoCal Lashings get some momentum.
Couple changes for the Seattle Thunderbolts today. Daminda Ranawera out for rotation purposes. They brought in Rashid Badraj, who's made the switch from the Atlanta Fire last season. Sahil Kancherla, sorry, comes in to the 11. Very strong team. Need to be in that competitive Western division.
Rishi Bharadwaj did get a game before this and almost won it.
I spoken to Charlie Van Schalkwyk about this yesterday. 3 overs inside the power play is not something we saw very often last season, where he was more trusted within sort of the death overs Suhas, but clearly they see something in Fani Simadri to do the bulk of the bowling in the last 5. So they've gone to 3 up front. And I think it also goes to the increasing importance of the first 6 overs with the restrictions.
Absolutely, Nikhil, and just guiding you back to the point we made slightly earlier. The fact that Shadley hasn't been in the best of form, still the team's able to pick up the wickets at regular intervals is because the other bowlers have been of great support. And it's good to see a team coming together by finding new heroes every time, not relying on the old ones as well. But I'll tell you what, his efficacy is just increasing.
Harmeet Singh, the captain, the skipper for the Thunderbolts, done well to lead his team so far. Just the 1 loss in this tournament. They'll be very happy with the way they started, given the fact that they lost 7 out of the 14 games last season. So the way they've began, Andreas Gauss in the form of his life, 250s, he'll come into play with the bat in hand. Some stage you can see Harmeet Singh boundary riding, boundary patrolling, end to end. Again, aerial, but falls short of that man. Good fielding effort, but they're going to get a single because of it. Showing the aggression, Crosswhite, but not necessary at this stage, you think. The firm grip on of the game.
No, I believe you're being quite a taskmaster. I really believe the throw was on because it was Katani's call for some reason. He was quick enough to get there. And once the throw is a direct hit, that's one of the banes that you sign up for. You don't know which way it'll ricochet.
Schalkwyk, this has been a dream start for him. And also, people may wonder why his economy rate has taken such a big leap, but because he's bowling these overs inside the power play, always going to affect. Things do tend to be more expensive. He's finally coming into his rhythm. Gorgeous shot from Clark, but straight to the man. That's been pretty much the story to start the innings so far.
Just 1 run of the over so far. This is turning out to be a terrific over for Shadley.
Schalkwyk again on that good length, and really asking the right questions. And I think because they have trusted what's to come, Samadri, Harmeet Singh, they have a lot of options. They can't afford to go to the strike bowler early. And just to see when Bodogam comes into the attack again. We saw him come in the middle phases of the game yesterday. This time goes over the top. He's been quiet for a long time, Katani Clark, knowing the two fielders in the offside boundary, in the circle. It will get into the boundary, so Bodogam pulls out the dive, not enough.
Five runs at the over. 5 gone, 30 for no loss.
1, 2, 3.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
Back live at the Prairie View Cricket Complex. Pretty even start between these two teams. Think about Katani Clark. The fact that he and Harpreet Singh are still there will be very important. And now they will build a platform. They want to probably make use of this final over, but they've got the captain to contend with, Harmeet Singh, one of the most economical bowlers over the 2 seasons in this Toyota minor league. Presented by Sunoco, of course. Singh is very economical, dangerous option. Tends to bowl one inside the power play.
Again, gets that flexibility to bowl just one inside the power play because of Akhilesh Bodigan's better performances. 16 matches, 175 runs and 14 important wickets. Harmeet Singh's always assumed responsibility with a ball in hand as a skipper.
Goes straight, and man inside the circle, always going to be tough to cut it off. This is the power, especially through mid-off, of Harmeet Singh. Such a good driver because of that firm top hand. Coming into his own now, Singh.
The boundary first ball, what a way to invite Harmeet into the attack. Harpreet gets one in his slot. Harmeet was probably expected better from Bodogam. Once it beat him, it was always going to be 4.
Shots up.
They've actually misjudged it, Bodogam, and now making the change, sending long off back and bringing up the long on into the circle. So much better option, I think, with the ball spinning away from the right-hander.
Shots.
Most of their deliveries will be sort of outside that off stump, so much safer with this field. Does have the deep mid-wicket, pretty traditional for the spinner as well. And again, that's excellent, an excellent delivery, angling the ball in and letting it just rip away. Have seen purchase on this surface.
It's good to see that the surface is assisting the spinners. We're in for a cracker then. A bit of movement.
Almost
bit of sideways movement as well.
Adam,
After it pitches, is it owing to the grass that you talked about?
I think it's more spin. I think because it's so dry, this surface, the heat, you'd see more spin than sideways move for a spinner. Again, in the air, just short of Crosswhite. Through extra cover, he likes to go there. We've mentioned how much of his scoring comes in that offside between mid-off and extra cover, that gap. Always searching, but because of the length and because Singh is such a meticulous bowler, it's making it very tough for Harmeet Singh. Harpreet Singh, correction. Harmeet and Harpreet.
Right on.
So good with this angle, Harmeet Singh. Bowling around the wicket to the two right-handers. With that angle, it was going to go in naturally. Just spin away at the last second, as we saw the very second delivery, which was unplayable, really. Loud shout, always going to be high. Came a long way across. May have been outside the off stump as well.
You will almost see 3 stumps. The fact that he's inviting Katani to go for the big shot by slowing it down. It's a little victory for the spinner.
batting, but straight to the man. Coming through for the single. This is good running, good awareness by Harpreet Singh, putting pressure on the fielders of the Seattle Thunderbolts. Yesterday, we'll get back to that the next over. End of 6, 36 for none.
SoCal Lashings getting a move on in the first 6 overs of the first power play. Katani Clark 16 of 22. Harpreet Singh, what a lovely flowing boundary from his bat. 17 of 14 at the moment. Just 3 extras.
It's not the most convincing start, but I think what will make the Lashings very happy about this from their openers is now their highest opening stand between the two, this top 3. With Dale Phillips, the captain today, coming next. It will be so important if they're to get it to a sizable total. And now, we saw this yesterday. Rohan Pasanapali was so brilliant. 19 runs only conceded in his 4. Also picked up a wicket and could have had many more as well. Asking the right questions. He bowled 4 on the trot. So it'll be important to see how Harpreet Singh manages him in much cooler conditions. But this young man definitely has the right makings to be a real star going forward. Part of that USA Under-19 setup. A couple of years now.
So he got a bowling change. Right arm over.
He's been working a lot on the mental makeup as well to make a lovely comeback. Every time he's hit for runs too. He's got a very big heart and the right attitude to make it big in this game. Rohan Pasanapali didn't have the best of starts to the tournament, but he bounced back. It's great to see the captain trusting the youngster as well. Can he provide the first breakthrough?
Yeah, they need a wicket. You don't want to allow these two to get too comfortable in the middle because they both have the ability to switch into the next gear. Both aggressive players. Again, love this bowling because they're on that good length. He likes to go down the ground. Katani Clark backs himself to take on any boundary, especially between long on and long off. So this is really good bowling from the seamers, especially of the Thunderbolts.
It's a very wide long off in place as well. Would be interesting to see if Katani Clark decides to go inside out once again. It's one of his favorite strokes. No movement.
Flicked, but there is that mid-wicket in place. Just on Rohan Pasanapali though, you look at his 2021 season, he was part of the East Bay Blazers, but didn't really get much opportunity. In the 10 games he played, he only bowled 30 overs and got 7 wickets. So I love to see the added responsibility that Harpreet Singh has given him. He bowled 4 on the trot yesterday and was so pivotal in restricting during the middle periods of the innings. I love the role that he has for the young man. Good captaincy from Singh. This time could be his first wicket, but no, it won't carry. Harpreet Singh at long on. He's quick, but not quick enough. Maybe Usain Bolt would have struggled to get there.
I wasn't there for a long time. Rohan Pasanapali didn't get excited as soon as he saw that leading edge because he knew the field. He talked about the added responsibility that he's got. And one more thing is the fact that he's bowling 4 on the trot. It's a test to his fitness. The youngster's done really well.
On the leg side, we'll have to rebut that one. So as we spoke about the weather a lot this holiday weekend, of course, blockbuster action in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. How difficult will it be for the SoCal Lashings, who have 2 games back-to-back, both on the premium coverage? They'll be taking on the home team, the Hurricanes, next. Very tough to manage conditions.
Absolutely right, and very tough to be managing the energy levels of the key players as well, who tend to give it all. Someone like Katani, who'd be asked to open. That means he's got to have the energy reserves. I'm very sure there's a towel waiting for him after he completes this innings.
Again, goes on a good length. But this time, Katani Clark, I keep mentioning how strong this man is down the ground. He's showing it now, prowess, as this innings progresses. He's done the hard work to get in. Aggression to the young man, Pasanapali. He's got to come back stronger.
Fantastic shot. Just waiting for the first poor delivery. Gets the width to free his arms. And no half measures when Katani gets it right.
This man, Katani Clark, is a man you want to dismiss very quickly. comes from New Zealand. You'd even look, I remember watching him in that Super Smash final for the Northern Districts. Between him and Mitchell Santner, 2 match winners for that Northern Districts team. He's a big reason with 71 from 34 deliveries in that final at the top of the order to help his team win that Super Smash. So he's known for stepping up when his team needs him most. He's played a big responsibility already coming into this tournament. Big pickup for them.
And it's a big positive that he's already started to fire in conditions over here. 41 of 18 in the previous game, guided his team home. Now, setting a target is what he's been up to. 23 of 25, covering quickly.
Again, tries to go down the ground, has to check his shot and just allow it to be a 1 in the deep. When you look at sort of the fact that Dale Phillips and Kateni Clark, the 2 New Zealanders, have come in for this SoCal Lashings team and have both been the leading run scorers, and you think about the conditions that they've played in, first at the Woodley Park and now here, they've been grass, very similar conditions. Yes, the heat is different, but that green grass is something you get a lot of in New Zealand, so I don't think it's a big surprise that both have fired early on for the Lashings.
Change in field. Third man comes inside the circle.
Set back the cow corner for that delivery, trying to play with the mind of Harpreet Singh. Good end to the over, but an expensive one for Posanapalli. Concedes 10, 46 for none.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, तेरे घर लाने का।
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Well, the action are happening all around the Prairie View Cricket Complex. The Silicon Valley Strikers, one of 2 unbeaten teams in this Pacific Conference, up against the Michigan Cricket Stars. That's a crucial game in that conference. On that very field yesterday, Shehan Jayasuriya got the second 100 of this minor league cricket championship. So runs flowing quickly. But today the Strikers bowling first. Mukchan has led his men well, the defending champions. And the Thunderbolts in the same division, in the same group as well, will be looking to challenge them throughout this season. A much improved start, looking for their 4th win. Rahul Singh will come into the attack for the first time.
Rahul Singh in 5 matches has picked up 3 wickets and 3 key wickets.
This will be a boundary. So Rahul Singh starts to loosen and Kateni Clark, keep mentioning anything full, he won't miss out. Goes to extra cover. Excellent shot by him, and he continues to progress in this innings.
Kateni Clark gets a gift first up. Full toss inside out. One of his favorite strokes, and no chance for Akhilesh Bodhagam, no matter how wide or long off you are.
You married? No. Single. Oh my.
Yeah, he does have just the 2 in terms of the offside. Tells you where Singh is going to be very straight at Clark. That goes again, this time full, and he's going to have to watch it sail over the boundary. This time even better. It goes all the way for a maximum. And all of a sudden in the last 2 overs, both conceded 20 now. So Kateni Clark moving into that 2nd gear. This is danger brewing for the Thunderbolts.
What a way to invite Rahul Singh into this game. Second delivery, smashed away for 6 in the same region. Almost as if the first boundary was just a setup for the bigger one to come.
I'm really surprised that Harmeet Singh has brought on Rahul Singh from this end, because he has the ball spinning away from the 2 right-handers into the smaller side, so they can hit with the spin, and Kateni Clark can do exactly what he's done, be able to find that extra cover boundary. It's much closer this time, very hard to cut, gets away with it there. Good batting though by Kateni Clark. This man has been unstoppable in the first 5 games now for the SoCal Lashings.
Good roll. Good line there.
Takes a lot of pressure off Harpreet Singh as well. 18 of 16 at the moment. Kateni is already shown signs of shifting gear.
And this allows Harpreet Singh, who's a very important member of this SoCal Lashings team, to just get in. Last year, he was there with the runs, 365 of them. Averaged over 40 and striked at under 160. And he goes big this time, but hasn't connected well. It's going to actually work out for him. Falls into no man's land. Very fortunate, Harpreet Singh.
Every time Adam Crosswhite today has got an opportunity, it's always been over his shoulder. Running backwards once again. Nicely flighted, inviting him to go for the big shot. And Rahul Singh was screaming, catch it. Good sense that he wants the wicket after being hit away for a couple of boundaries.
Happy to just come through for single. This is good batting though, good analysis of the over, because they knew they got 10 from the first 2 deliveries, so don't have to take many risks. Yes, you're looking to kick on in terms of with the run scoring, that run rate, but a good over. Really good start against the leg spin, 59 for none.
Keep going, boys. Keep going, yeah. We're still in it, yeah, man. So no worry. Got to keep 172 in.
SoCal Lashings get off to a good start. 8 overs, 59 for no loss. Catany Clark, 36 of 30. He's moved up a gear, and Harpreet Singh has got the best seat in the house to view that. Himself 19 of 18.
Well, a lot of options used. Just 5 so far from the Thunderbolts. Simadri will come into the attack for his first over. Was brilliant yesterday with his 3 wickets. Harpreet Singh, a slow start for him, but so important. 365 runs in 2021, only 52 in the 4 games coming into this. He was the leading run scorer, but also it was the amount of time he spent at the crease. Averaged over 40 with the bat in hand, and a strike rate of 159. It tells you why he's been such an important performer. This innings will help his cause in terms of getting that confidence as the season progresses. Biggest opening stand for this pairing. Catany Clark, a bit risky. Good running from Harpreet Singh. He's done this quite a number of times in this innings. And something Andrews Ghost mentioned yesterday, Suhas, you would have seen a lot of this Thunderbolts team. He wants the fielding to up the ante in terms of intensity. Do you think that's what's missing in this Thunderbolts team to take them to that next level?
They're definitely working on it, and yesterday there were a couple of misfields that they definitely went to the drawing board with, because that could have changed the course of the game. And of course, that half chance with the run out as well.
Lovely, funny boy.
Another single for Clark. Happy to just work it around. He's so important. You think they would have watched the Lashings, they would have watched yesterday's game. They were actually here at the Fairview Cricket Complex after they were bundled out for just 86. So much improved batting performance. Just looking to be a bit cheeky, Harpreet Singh. So they think it's going to go for 4, but we're walking that single, just be a single. Interesting to see the call byes given. So we'll just beat everyone with Gauss at the stump. Simadri's very unorthodox in terms of his release, has that almost sidearm action, but so good at those cutters.
Yeah, too good for the keeper as well on that occasion.
Pace off, goes straight up in the air. There is a man at long off, has running to do. Gets there and takes the catch. Posinapali makes up good ground. And it's a big wicket taken, the first for the Thunderbolts. Just what they needed to claw their way back into this game.
Simadri strikes. And Posinapali never took the eyes off the ball. It isn't an easy catch, but a man who's got long strides believe that he can get there. Hands in the right position, cupping it to perfection. Doesn't want to let it go. Important wicket. SoCal Lashings lose their first as Catany Clark departs for a well-made 39.
63 for 1. Well, the new skipper for this Lashings team, taking over from Abhimanyu Rajat, Dale Phillips comes to the middle, top scored yesterday when they were bundled out against the Athletics for just 86. So the Lashings have got to improve. They've already improved, but a lot of onus on this man's shoulders, now leading the team with that international experience. Been the second leading run scorer for them this season. He's been brilliant to watch. The brother, of course, of Glenn Phillips. Bat so similar. It's actually so crazy to see the batting styles, the way that high bat lift, how strong they are off a good length. Thinking for Harmeet Singh to do, they need to get these 2 wickets, and you think they would be very happy with their position. From this stage, they get to 146. They'll want more than that.
106 crucial runs for his side in 5 games. Comes in after a good start has been provided by the openers. Dale Phillips will have to face Simadri's cutters first up.
Bowling left arm over. 2.
Simadri, when the keeper is standing up, is excellent to watch.
Really good start to Dale Phillips. You can see there, Simadri back into the wickets. I mentioned how much he's changed this season. Just 9 wickets, last season. Already now with that wicket, it's gone to 10. Already bettering that just 4 games in. Really good length to Clark, who's looking to go down the ground. Again, this time short, but that bit of change up, especially off the surface. Such a seasoned campaigner, but such a good execution of plans from the Thunderbolts. 63 for 1.
After 9 overs, SoCal Lashings 63 for 1. The only man to be back in the pavilion is Katani Clark after a well-made 39. Good catch by Posanapalli. Harpreet Singh's out there for a runner ball 19 as Dale Phillips just walked in.
So you will go back to Rohan Posanapalli, who's just bowled the 1 over. And a change of ends for Posanapalli as well. 1 over for 10 runs. Bringing him from this end, he's going to have to be very precise because he's now bowling to the smaller side to Harpreet Singh, a man that's been there for 19 deliveries. Just a runner ball, but in the last 2 overs, he's clearly sort of been much more comfortable at the crease. Up the ante, you could say. Has been very impressive, Harpreet Singh. Comes in with a big reputation from last season.
A went for 10 in the first over. We believing that a change of ends will bring change of fortune as well. Posanapalli, who's just taken a terrific catch, will try to translate some of the confidence into his deliveries. A false start. He's allowed to do that. As a fast bowler, you thrive on rhythm. Anything you seem is off, you're allowed to go back. Now the counting will start.
Well, on Rohan Posanapalli, I mentioned it earlier in terms of the bigger role he's been given. As the season progresses, I think what Harmeet Singh is going to look to do is slowly get him into those high-pressure situations. We see it with a lot of young bowlers in this tournament. Dev Tadani comes to mind, the way Unmuk Chan has used him late in games that they're in a winning position, sort of to get that confidence for these younger under-21 players. As the season progresses, expect to see Posanapalli bowl a death over here, maybe an over in the power play, all trying to develop him as one of the main strike bowlers alongside Van Skalvik. With that seam, of course, Fani Samadri as well. A really good bowling attack, this Thunderbolts team.
Absolutely, Nikhil, it seems so, because knowing Harmeet, he's someone who loves to groom young talent. Now that he's taken Rohan Posanapalli under his wings, we want to see him bowl better overs under pressure.
Very good length. He can use his height as well. Something that he's had discussions about is bowling that shorter delivery. He has a deep mid-wicket in place. He's got the height, 6'3", Rohan Posanapalli. But as he increases in pace, a young man, one of the under-19 players for the Seattle Thunderbolts, as he increases and gets older, gets stronger, he will look to use that extra bit of pace to bowl those shorter deliveries. What I love about him, though, as Phillips finally gets off the mark, is that he's very within himself, not trying to do too much, Saw in that spell yesterday of the 4 overs on the trot. Never easy in that heat, playing the afternoon game, the Thunderbolts, to bowl 4 on the trot. He did a big job for his captain, Harmeet Singh. Flat bats it down the ground. It was a shorter delivery. Looking for that pull. There is a huge gap between long on and that mid-wicket fielder who's almost halfway between mid-wicket and square leg. So he's trying to target that. Of course, it is into the bigger side. It's good bowling by Posanapalli to be on a shorter length. You don't mind him hitting into the onside, both of these right-handers. So far, so good for the Thunderbolts. They won't mind this. The run rate less than 7 runs and over. Again, cut powerfully, but of course they have that cover fielder. This is good execution by Harmeet Singh and his bowler, bowling to his field, bowling to the plan.
Again, when you bowl short, you gotta have that extra bit of bounce. This was right up there to be hit. He had the width as well to work with. Dale gets to the other end.
Just 5 singles in the over. Great comeback for Posanapalli with the change of ends. He's bowled an excellent over, I think, to his field. End of 10, the halfway stage, 68 for 1.
Catching Clark departed for 39. Harpreet Singh moves on to a runner ball 22. Dale Phillips has taken a couple of singles. And after Catani's departure as well, 68 for 2 now. That means 22 runs added. Span of 24 balls.
Wicket, but up and down.
It's going to be spin, more spin into the attack. No, it's actually going to be Fani Samadri. Just love how Andres Gauss comes up to the stump. And it'll be very interesting to see how he manages these Samadri overs. Just the 1 over, already in the wickets. Now tied at the top of the wicket table with Isan Adil from the Grizzlies.
Shots, not too much. Yeah.
Fani Samadri is keeping it tight, keeping it simple at the same time. Sometimes he's got the delivery that is pitched outside leg, but cuts into the right-hander.
Oh, that's a good shout. Gauss is confident, but the umpire, Rustin Samuels, unmoved. Did Harpreet Singh just keep that back foot down? Andres Gauss, I love the animation he has whenever a decision doesn't go his team's way. He's so passionate about this, about getting some in-swing and then just seaming away. Harpreet Singh losing his balance, but you see that back foot looks pretty stable. Hard to tell from that angle, but Gauss was so confident. He still can't believe it.
And this Gauss, one of the quickest hands in the game. Believed he's got his man. A lovely pouch. And that back foot has to be beyond that line towards the stumps.
Just as an indication of how hard it's been to score off Fani Samadri, he's averaging under 12 per wicket in this tournament. He's already taken 10. 1 under Isan Adil, the leading wicket taker in this 2022 Toyota Minor League. Another cutter which just goes away. Probably the leg cutter goes away from Harpreet Singh. So they've been really tentative to play him, Fani Samadri. This is excellent bowling.
Now it's a nagging length, isn't it? You can neither commit to a shot on the front foot or completely get it from the middle of the bat when you're trying to play it off the back foot. Fani Samadri is getting it right here, stringing together 4 important dot deliveries for his side. It's already picked up a wicket.
That'll disappoint him because he was really asking questions of Harpreet Singh outside the all stump. Just shears in terms of the line, and he's able to get through for a single. But since that wicket in the 9th over, the scoring has massively slowed down. Just 6 runs scored since the departure of Kateni Clark. Tells you what the importance of wickets, especially that bit of extra movement. So Madrid gets through his overs very quickly. Not a long runner, not trying too much in terms of the pace. 1 run from the over. This is brilliant stuff. 69 for 1.
That was like a shock.
The SoCal Lashings got off to a wonderful start. The 7th over, the 8th over was building the high-rise buildings. 9th, 10th, 11th, you see the runs taper off. Reason being, Kateni Clark's departure. Dale Phillips getting a move on eventually. Harpreet Singh also getting into a little shell, would want to break out of it with a big shot first up. Harmeet Singh will assume responsibility with the ball in hand to bowl the 12th.
But you just tried to stop out.
Gave away 6 in his first over. He's sticking to the same end. He's getting some spin, that's for sure. Andres Kraus, how good has he been? Also helps the captain out with the field setting.
I like this roll though from Harpreet Singh because yes, he's struck at under 100 and it's been a struggle for him. But the main thing is that he's still at the crease, especially when you have just yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, your team was bundled out for 86. Today, Dale Phillips winning the toss, batting first, and you can clearly see a difference in responsibility. How tough is that, Suhas, to rebound so quickly after being bundled out for 86 against the Lone Star Athletics, losing by 70 runs?
It's more mental, isn't it? It's more mental. It's mental makeup. I'll get back to you on that one. Slight appeal there. Withdrew himself there, Harmeet. But Nikhil, they've got to treat that particular game as an aberration, as this one straightened.
The wind will push
Didn't turn much. It's the lack of turn that troubled the batter. They've got to treat it as an aberration. Lovely delivery once again. Very testing this time, more spin. They've got to treat it as an aberration, Nikhil, and not delve too much into it. Because you've got to understand they're a wonderful side. Or this is a dream delivery for any left-arm orthodox.
Again, much shorter in length and finally able to get through for the single. But I think the key thing about this over has been all about the angle. Harmeet Singh did such a skillful bowler. Wants to add wickets now to his tally in terms of last season. Would have wanted a greater role in terms of wicket taking.
Just love to see this, so much camaraderie.
This time in the air, there is a man in the deep, but he's hit it straight. And luckily for Harpreet Singh, because it was straight enough, it didn't carry to the man. But a great over from Singh, just through from it, 72 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, तेरे घर लाने का। 1, 2, 3.
The action well poised. Lashings will be very happy with this improved batting display. First game batting first in this tournament. The Thunderbolts will be equally happy they've kept a firm grip on things. Another single. These won't hurt the Thunderbolts too badly. Something we saw yesterday from the captain was he had Samadri bowling 2 overs in the last 5. I love this move to be aggressive and look for those wickets. Now he knows the importance of this partnership. Really and truly, it's been a key blueprint for teams facing the Lashings. When you take out the top three, the rest have crumbled, so they know and they've done their homework. This is excellent stuff from the Thunderbolts, and it's the reason they've won 3 out of 4 games in this tournament. Excellent delivery, going away again from the right-hander.
Would like to see more intent from Dale Phillips, even though it was just a single scored by Harpreet initially in this over. It's a beautiful delivery. So much turn, as much as Harmeet is doing so as a spinner.
This time aerial, but past point. And it will run into the boundary, just no. Excellent piece of fielding to cut it off. Just seemed like he did enough in the end to save the boundary.
That was a long chase, and Rishi Bharadwaj also soon realized he's going to be into the act. Wonderful stuff.
Great action replay as well, brought to you by the premium coverage here on Willow TV MLC Network. Wouldn't be possible without our official sponsors, Dafa News, the presenting sponsors, Sunoco, and of course Toyota, back on board for the 2nd year running.
Dale Phillips, the first shot that almost got him a boundary there. Wanted to see more intent from him, and here we have it.
Off the to close back face.
Only in America you'll find something like this.
So rare 4 runs taken off of Simadri. Oh, has he got the edge? Has he got the edge? We're very happy about that. And Gauss again, he can't believe it. He's so confident, Andreas Gauss. But is he crying wolf here one too many times? He's so animated in his appeal. He thought he had his man.
Fani Simadri troubling the right-handers ever so often with the same delivery that moves away. It's hard to tell if there were deviation from that ball, but it's a lovely collect nonetheless. 13 overs gone, 77 for 1.
Huh? Umpire, what happened with the boundary? They said it wasn't 4.
Yeah, it was.
No, their team.
Not the team.
Their team. Not the team. I heard it. It was their team that said it.
No, the council went from the
77 for 1. It's been a good partnership, but they have to up the ante at some stage, scoring at less than a run a ball because of they've just suffocated the Lashings, Harmeet Singh and his team. I want to mention on credit Singh, the way he's managed his bowlers and managed the dimensions of the field. You see the 2 sides, 2 bigger and smaller side. He's used the left arm spin, bowling and forcing the batters, the right-handers, who all 3 have been, to hit into that bigger side. And for the off spinners, the ball going in, he's been happy to then have them work it into the onside. Excellent stuff. And just a wicket, soft dismissal for Harpreet Singh. He's thrown it away after all of that hard work. Just lofts it back to Akhilesh Budogam. He'll be very disappointed with that, but this man again in the wickets.
Inviting the batter to go for the big shot, all because of those tight overs prior to this. And for Akhilesh Budogam, it was a simple catch, a soft dismissal of a hardcore hitter. It's Harpreet Singh departing for 26 of 31, 77 for 2.
Huge wicket for the Thunderbolts. They were building the pressure. The main thing is taking that wicket. We know the reliance on this top 3. They were around for a long time, but only put together 14 runs. So Zuhaib Ahmad didn't start in the first 2 games for the Lashings.
Let's go, boys.
Comes to the middle now. And just the 39 runs in his 3 matches in the minor league so far across his career. I love the fact that Dale Phillips, this is what you want from your experienced players. New man's come to the crease, less experience, will guide him through. He'll relish this opportunity, Ahmad, to bat with a man of Philip's stature. Playing a lot of first-class cricket in New Zealand. Him and Katani Clark have been revelations and great additions for this Lashings team. Work to be done with just 5.85 runs per over.
Next up, covering. It's one of those ones you just, yeah. Right arm over, but 5 to come.
Oh, wow, he's really tested. They've really tested overall. The Thunderbolts, they've tested these batters in the middle. Not made it easy to score.
He's figured out the pace at which he can bowl the variations as well. Too quick for Ahmed's liking.
Again, on that hard length. And what Badogam is doing well, some of those deliveries are coming out the side of the hand. The wicket looked like it will get a better indication now, but he seems to have that leg break delivery. That was the traditional off break, and Singh looking to get close, just chipped it up in the air. Just disappointed with that. There it is. It's a second in the over, and it hits the middle stump. And Ahmad looking to up the ante. They needed it at this stage. Just too good. Better to the task is Akhilesh Badogam.
Simple, straight and quick. Akhilesh has figured out the formula for this wicket. Ahmed going for a cross-batted stroke too early in his innings. The off-stump pick back.
The length was never there to sweep. He's gone without scoring, 77 for 3. See the disappointment. Elmore Hutchinson comes to the middle at number 5 for this SoCal Lashings team, the big all-rounder, former USA international player. And I love this because in the first 2 games where the Lashings were in good positions to win, I just felt they didn't use Elmore Hutchinson well. In the first game, only bowled 3 overs, then batted at number 7 and 8. He's got to come earlier. Your match winner, your all-rounder, your power hitter, especially with your team scoring less than a run a ball.
Easy game, boys.
14 games, 122 runs. We'll soon see him with the ball in hand as well. That's when the wicket column will make a lot of sense indeed. He's been bowling really well on the other grounds. And then I agree with you, Nikhil. 77 for 3, you want to get a move on. Akhilesh Badogam's only picked up wickets and conceded nothing in this over. You want someone who can ruffle some feathers.
I can tell you, just 106 runs for Hutchinson last season because of the international duty he was on. 9 innings for him. He's a much better player than those numbers suggest. This is why he's here. Ahmad looking to sweep, not the length to do so. Just the traditional ball spinning in. Really causing some problems. This surface is drying out. You can see the spinners causing problems, and it's going to play a part as this day progresses and as the game goes on. We'll get tougher for batting, as it seems.
End of the over, a double wicket maiden. 14 overs gone, 77 for 3.
Fast bowler.
Akhilesh Badogam ensuring a couple of wickets in that over. Katani Clark was the first to go for 39. Harpreet Singh, the surviving opener, got 26. Gets a start but couldn't convert. A lot more pressure on Dale Phillips now. 7 of 15 is yet to get a move on. Zohaib Ahmed was a 3-ball visitor, and Elmore Hutchinson's been sent up the order to get some quick runs.
Well, so has been brilliant to have brands like Sunoco, the presenting sponsor for this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, on board. I think they've allowed this tournament to take the next step in terms of level, in terms of caliber and quality. Van Schalkwyk will come into the attack now. This could be a master stroke. One thing about Harmeet Singh, not only on the field, but he's an aggressive personality in terms of in competitive situations, and he's showing it here. Van Schalkwyk, his leading wicket taker from 2021, is going back to him for his final over. He's not waiting for the last 5. He wants the kill now.
This is like bang. If you think this is bad, play on number 1.
He's replaced Fani Samadri, who's just bowled 3 overs. Would you have kept Samadri on maybe for his final? 9 runs and a wicket.
Yeah, with the way he was going, why not give him another? But I think Harmeet has other plans. Perhaps hitting him for one of the matchups that Seattle Thunderbolts would have worked on. He hasn't bowled too badly. Shadley 3 overs, just 9 runs. So meager, so miserly.
Elmore Hutchinson, he's got that big back lift. Every time he is about to hit the ball, you think, well, this one's going to be powered out the ground. But he's got to show some restraint here, Hutchinson, because they've lost 2 wickets in an over after a long, lengthy second wicket partnership. So he's got to ensure now that he can spend some time. They still have Dale Phillips there, who top scored in the last innings for this Lashings team. Have to ensure that they can build something. And I think Hutchinson will also enjoy the fact that he's got a bit of extra time. Oh, what a Yorker that is. The finger goes up straight away. Van Schalkwyk knows it. It's why he was brought into the attack. Toe-crushing Yorker gets the 4th for the Thunderbolts.
Shadley amongst the wickets. Gets the rocker. Pinpoint. Oh, what great accuracy. The ball swinging in like that. It's very difficult. Till loses his footing. By the time he recovered and started to run, the finger was already up.
He never even looked back, Van Schalkwyk. Phillips gone for 11. 79 for 4.
Let's go. See how fast you are. Why would you fucking you wasn't like this? Why would you fucking back first? You think you're doing yeah, go for it, go for it. That pitch was having more
Work to be done for the SoCal Lashings. In real trouble now after a good opening stand by them. Much improved performance. They were 63, the openers, but they've collapsed. They've tumbled. Been the story. Vashishat comes to the middle. Played in the last game, Shiva Vashishat. But all about this excellent delivery from Van Schalkwyk. Take a look at it very soon. But he was brilliant with that new ball in the power play. Then came back extremely well. Look at the Yorker coming across his stumps. Phillips. Another good delivery to the new batter.
He was so sure that he just continued with the celebration.
No, leave it,
Left it to Andres Kraus for the appeal. Oh, what a good delivery for a man first up. Right-hander feeling for it. Once again, giving it to Shadley, throwing away a master stroke from Harmeet. All those questions of why not funny put to rest.
Got to hurry, has to hurry. But in the end, gets through for the quick single. Something I've noticed as well in this innings, all 3 of the spinners used by Harmeet Singh, Badogam and Rahul Singh himself, have all come from this southern end, the highway end. And it tells you that they think you're getting a bit more spin bowling to that end. So it's been good awareness by Harmeet Singh, the captain. He's led his team well. He was really disappointed with how they ended the season in 2021. Boy, have they corrected that and started. Elmore Hutchinson goes, is straight, and he'll get runs. He doesn't stick around. He's a no-nonsense man. The former USA international all-rounder opens his account with a boundary.
Now walking into it, upsetting the length of the bowler. Shadley had to make last-minute adjustments, but the long levers of Hutchinson just powering into that shot. Yeah, he had decided that he wants to go straight down the ground, Hutchinson. Absolutely no half measures. The power of that man almost got it for 6.
But it's all about the premeditation to come down the track, knowing that Van Schalkwyk, if you watch his previous 3 overs, almost 80% of his deliveries were all on a good length. So when you come down the track, we saw Kateni Clark do it as well. You get closer. That's the funny thing. Van Schalkwyk indicating that that's not the same ball. A lot of deliveries lost in that forest just beyond the Prairie View Cricket Complex. They brought back a different ball, so.
Is that the match ball of the ground adjacent to this one?
I can tell you, the Houston Hurricanes practice here as the home team. the likes of Ashley Nurse, they'll be in action later today, but Nurse, Usman Rafiq, Matthew Trump, they hit many sixes into that bush just beyond the Prairie View Cricket Complex. So a lot of balls will be lost. They've clearly gotten the ball back now, retrieved the right ball, and we're ready for play again. Ganskalvik's got to think now.
Yeah, you could go for a leather hunt. You know what I'm doing, Nikhil, tomorrow.
Smart batting from Elmo Hutchinson. He wants back to strike, just settling for the single. And it'll be 7 from the over, but a wicket more importantly, 85 for 4.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Well, one thing I love about this, 6 options used, but the all-round ability yesterday, all 5 of the bowlers, all in the wickets. They're showing you why they're one of the best bowling lineups in this tournament, the Seattle Thunderbolts. Akhilesh Budogam, 2 wickets, pick of the bowlers so far, will bowl his final over. He has a different challenge bowling to Elmo Hutchinson. Anything full, Suhas, I'm predicting it now, will go after it, Hutchinson. And there he goes, straight away. That is the biggest 6 we've had all weekend. Fetch that on the US 290 highway. It's gone a long way back. The power of this man, the long levers as well.
Elmo Hutchinson doesn't need to dance down the track. He trusts his power, he trusts his timing, and the long reach of the batter.
Getting old for this man.
Loves to hit through the line like that. And once he hits it, it stays it. It was never a question of if it's going to be 6 or no. It's only a question of who's going to retrieve it.
I'll tell you what Elmo Hutchinson said to me this morning. He's read Dafa News every day. He's not been on it once. That has to change. And he's made it already with 2 shots. Made a strong case for himself. He will have the new ball in hand as well. So Akhilesh Budogam, 2 wickets for 20 runs. You think, okay, maybe see him around. See him off. Not interested. The former international. And this time in the air, and what a comeback. First a 6, and look at what it means to him. Throws the ball in the surface. That's aggression. This is lovely T20 cricket. And Elmo Hutchinson's got to depart. Just 2 big strokes from him. Walking back to the pavilion. 1 too many for the big man.
And coming through the Hyderabad school of spin. The never say never attitude. Always toss it up and a batter hits it to you. Good catch by Akhilesh, who's tall enough to get there with ease. And this is one of the best comebacks as well. Elmo Hutchinson walks for 12. 91 for 4.
So, with that wicket, problems continuing for the SoCal Lashings team. Now lose their 5th wicket. Boy, has it been a struggle inside the 16th over. Just small things creeping back in for the Lashings. Skandar Rohit Sharma comes to the middle. The under 19 players. Keep saying it, what a name. Skandar Rohit Sharma. Gotta love it. Maybe hoping that he can do something Rohit Sharma-esque in this innings. His team now struggling. After 63 without loss, 91 for 5. What's gone wrong?
Skandar Rohit Sharma has got a game for the 50-over format for sure. It's coming a little late for my liking. 27 runs in 5 matches. Got the game time. But does it suit his game, his position? 100 versus the best zone Reds. I remember that in the 50-over format.
And they will get off the mark straight away. Wants to, has to hurry. And they will get there in the end. Look at that wicket by Budogam. After being struck for, after being thumped, you could say, for a maximum. What I loved about it, and it tells you how much emphasis a bowler takes on his own figures. He was just struck for 6, makes a good diving catch. He's athletic. But look at this. Big celebration, draws it into the ground. And he tells Amor Hutchinson, whatever you can do, I can do better. Sends him off as well.
Got an opportunity to be bowling in the nets to one of the best in the business from SRH. Shikhar Dhawan getting on thrice in the net session.
Where was that?
Back in
session.
India.
Wow, I have to ask him about that. Shikhar Dhawan. What year was that?
I think now you put me on the spot. I will have to ask him about that, but he did send me a picture where he's looking very, very young, we'll say 5 years ago.
It was so exciting to watch against that Atlantic Conference team last season for the Atlanta Fire. But the key thing which he wanted to improve on was the economy rate. It was going at over 7s and over in 2021, but he's really improved this season with that change of pace, changes of length.
And of course the delivery that you were talking about as well, that he's working on, the one that goes the other way.
Second leg. That's covering leg. Thank you.
Nice taking leg stump guard, wants to make offside more accessible. That is, if he wants to go inside out. Vashishat has got that shot in the armory as well. We've seen him play that on many a ground. Akhilesh. What a star.
Excellent delivery. Really good delivery from Akhilesh Bodogam to the new batters. These two in the middle got to do the construction work in this innings now. Just 4 overs remain after this delivery. And there it is. It's another one. Would you believe it? He's taking the game on, and he's a real born star, born performer. Akhilesh Bodogam, he's 4th in the match, and a real top way to end your spell. Fitting. It ends with a wicket.
16 overs gone. 94 for 6. Every time Akhilesh picks up a wicket in an over, he picks up another. Smothering the batter there with spin.
That came out the side of the hand from Bodogam. He's worked on that delivery. He's showing that he can go to it. He's gone for 1, 94 for 7 now.
That's all. Very well.
Just a correction, 94 for 6 now with that wicket. So Bodogam struck twice in 2 overs. 4 wickets for him, 2 yesterday, 6 amongst the 2 days. He'll be very happy with this. The way that he's bowled. Harmeet Singh has a spin himself. He would have loved to watch this from long on. Sanchit Sandhu, he's been there with the wickets. The leading wicket taker for this Lashings team. Needs to get up there with the runs. It was an all-round performer for them in 2021.
Sanchit Sandhu's worked a lot on his game. And of course, worked a lot on his fitness as well. Eventually performing and being picked for SoCal Lashings for 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. Lot rests on his shoulders now with the bat in hand. And this is why Sanchit's in the middle. No room to work with. Ball was quick enough. Hits the off stump. Akhilesh Bodogam, after being hit for a 6 first ball, comes back with 2 wickets in the same over. Rohan Posanapalli to bowl the 17th.
And this is what I was talking about. Harmeet Singh working Posanapalli into high-pressure situations. Now in the last 5, knowing that he's just taken 4 wickets in no time. So he has that bit of extra cushion, Rohan Posanapalli. I love this initiative. I saw something similar from Unmukt Chand, the captain of the Silicon Valley Strikers, and the way he's used Dev Tadani. Good captaincy, good leadership by Singh.
Now, is that a template for many a captain to allow young bowlers to bloom and blossom? He's got the right men around him as well, which Shadley can always go back to him and perhaps ask Funny, what is the right length to be bowling if you got a cutter? It's something that he's been working on since I got some purview into the Seattle Thunderbolts practice session.
Again, operating on that shorter length. Anywhere between the 6 and 9 meter range, he has that bit of extra pace. He can go there and make it still tough to score. Bowling to the right-handers, hitting into the bigger offside region. You don't mind that. In terms of the length he's bowling, has to stay outside that off stump on a 4th or 5th stump line, I think. Don't want to stray too straight and allow the pressure to come off with boundaries. Less than 6 runs and over. We saw it yesterday. The Americans struggled their way to 108 only. Batting first, winning the toss and batting first, much like the Lashings did today. The Thunderbolts, they're showing that they're a serious force to be reckoned with in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. No shout, but outside the line, a long way, Sandhu.
96 now with that single. Nikhil, give us a number here at the end of 20 overs. How much do you see?
No, I want you to give us the number. Sitting in the analyst role. Come on, Suhas. You're very good at predicting these first innings totals. What's it going to be? 108 wasn't enough by any means. Chased down in the 14th over.
Given the fact that Rohit Sharma is just about starting to tick, I'd say about 120.
He's a classy player, Rohit Sharma, but they're going to need some power if they want to get to that 120. Boundaries have to come.
You've got to expect Sandhu to provide the power game, isn't it? He loves to go straight down the ground. One of the best to play the pull shots as well. Sanchit Sandhu has scored these important runs for his side in the past too. And of course, he's worked on his fitness and balance just before the season began. Sanchit Sandhu yet to open his account though.
Big swing, but right into the surface from Posanapali. This is an excellent bowling spell. Good comeback from Posanapali. Was expensive. First over went for 10. Akhilesh Bodogam, bottom of your screen. You think about a Toyota Tundra player, an impact player. It's got to be that man. 4 wickets, 2 up in the power play, 2 overs in the power play. Came back at this crucial middle period yet again and produced for his team and his captain. Another great over from Posanapali, just 3 runs. And Andres Gauss mentioned it yesterday, speaking after his player of the match performance. 71 out for him. He mentioned this team with the bowling options that they have, the ability to just suffocate batting teams, especially when batting first with the added pressure. They don't take many wickets in that first 6, but the main thing is that they keep a hold on the scoring rate. It's worked for them yet again today. The track Sandhu, but straight to the man. Just a single to end the over. End of 17, 98 for 6.
Katni Clark was the first to go for 39. Harpreet Singh did get a start, couldn't convert. A little slump in the middle order. Shiva Vashishat, he went for 1. And Rohit Sharma is joined by Sanchit Sandhu. They've got to provide a crescendo finish. Would 120 be on the cards? 18 balls left. They've got to launch the ball into the sky and beyond.
They're mentioning that all-round ability and all-round efforts and options for Harmeet Singh to go to. Samadri still has the 1 over left. It's been the main wicket taker, second leading wicket taker in this tournament, but Harmeet Singh, the captain, you expect him to bowl 2 out of these 3 overs.
In 2 overs, just 9. He's played a supporting role. He's been very miserly, allowing other bowlers to pick up wickets as the batters go after them.
Need to be a bit crafty. I love that from Rohit Sharma, though, trying to get back on strike, knowing that he's definitely younger than Sanchit Sandhu, but he's a senior man in terms of with batting prowess.
That's a great shot.
I think what Harmeet Singh has dealt with last season as well. He only took the 11 wickets, but teams have been very ready to go to sort of just seeing him out, seeing his 4 overs out and targeting other bowlers. Has he got him? Has he got him, Andres Gauss? And he's given quick behind the stumps. He's asked that question all day. Wanted 1 dismissal. He's got it now. Rohit Sharma walking back.
This is where Harmeet is so dangerous, when the batters are coming after him. It doesn't shy away from flighting the ball. Rohit Sharma wanting to go inside out, misses with the balance. There's a lot of dust that kicked up. Good work by Andres House behind the wicket.
I immediately made a 150.
Sharma gone for 5.
Instantly. Because it was such a corner on the very bottom. You physically see the piece. Yeah. I didn't even have to look under anything. You could physically see it was a piece of plastic. Why did they take it out? A tweezer. A plastic tweezer. But she was a doctor. I wasn't complaining.
So Abhimanyu Rajat comes to the middle. Was the captain for the first 3 games of this tournament in terms of for the SoCal Lashings. Dale Phillips taking over today. So mainly known for his bowling. Rajat has to ensure, I've seen this a couple of times from the SoCal Lashings where they don't bat the full quarter. 99 for 7 in trouble. And goes straight up, straight away. Doesn't have enough on it. There's a fielder, Van Scaven, in the deep. And just misjudged it. Keeps it in from us going for a boundary, but it went so high up in the air, always difficult to judge. And Rajat, well, making his intentions clear. He's not looking to stick around.
Shatley would treat that as an opportunity gone down. The story of old story of overrunning. Well, could have been 2 and 2.
100 comes up as well for the Lashings. It's been a real struggle for them, and another disappointing showing after being 63 without loss. Then a real collapse, a real batting collapse. 37 runs for 7 wickets. Another sweep shot, but there is 2 in the deep on the onside.
It's been a similar story as far as Seattle Thunderbolts are concerned. I wanted to go inside out. Skandar Rohit Sharma too quick to get to it. Very Dhoni-like the collect. Whipped the bails off.
Oh, good delivery. Good delivery. Spinning away. We see it much slower. The arm, their speed changes from Harmeet Singh. Such a tedious young bowler and a captain. End of 18, 101 for 7.
SoCal Lashings started off well. Till that 7th and the 8th over, you could see the Manhattan shooting up. But then that slump in the middle overs, that's when Seattle Thunderbolts clawed themselves back into the game with wickets at regular intervals. Yes, the 16th over was expensive comparatively, but not so much. They pulled it back nicely here, Seattle Thunderbolts, and it's the 2nd time in 2 days that they've operated in the middle overs so very well.
Also the 2nd time in 2 days of a batting collapse for the Lashings yesterday. Bundled up for 86. And today, with that start, you thought it'd be much better, looking for 150, maybe even 160 at one stage with Katani Clark, Harpreet Singh and Dale Phillips. But that over-reliance on the top 3 working to the detriment of the Lashings today. 101 for 7. Still 2 overs remaining though. Have to try to muster anything they can at this stage. Fani Samadri will come back into the attack. 1 over for him. Working his way up in terms of the leading wicket takers column.
No. Just know it's gonna go like that.
Well, just uses the pace, works it well. And Sanchit Sandhu finally getting one off the middle. Just one bounce into the boundary, but that will help in terms of trying to get up to a competitive total.
Oh, good shot. And he's picked a lovely area indeed. Got into the position so quickly that he's able to execute it to perfection. These are important runs for SoCal Lashings.
Well, a full delivery and Sandhu working it well, knowing that they have 2 fielders in the onside, trying to work into that smaller side. So he's playing across the line on that occasion though. Good comeback from Samadri, pushing it much wider. Hard to take those deliveries from outside the off stump. Hit them through the onside.
Okay, sorry.
Skillful young man, Fani Samadri. What a season he's having. 9 total wickets last year. Already beaten that with 10 working his way up. Will definitely in the reckoning for the leading wicket takers come the end of this tournament. Goes straight up again. He could have another one. Fani Samadri, 2 men running under it, and it doesn't carry to Crosswhite on the boundary. Could have easily had his second wicket.
Good, Funny.
Did try to convert that into a catch. Fani Samadri had to be running backwards, so he left it to the fielders to do the job. James Crosswhite trying to get there. Still was falling short.
Well, again pulls it, but Budogam's waiting. He's waiting, and he doesn't drop many. The tall man. Samadri's got his second. He's just got a knack for picking up wickets in this 2022 season. And it just the icing on the cake for the Thunderbolts, who continue to strike in this innings. The Lashings struggling.
Now in a serious danger of being bundled out as well. Once again, the cutter, the round arm cutter. Abhimanyu had to go for it. Finds Bodugam in the deep. A good catch, good low catch for a man who had to bend down considering his height. He's very athletic too, Akhilesh Bodugam. The second catch for him. Abhimanyu Rajput goes for 1. Big shot, 106 for 7.
He's right. So Gian Fernando comes to the middle. 8th wicket goes down for the Lashings. Inside this 19th over, still 8 deliveries remaining in this innings. Have to make use. Again off the outside edge. Fortune for the Lashings, and they will get into the boundary as well. So he opened his account with some luck. Gian Fernando. Well, that wicket was all about Rajat looking to turn the ball into the onside. Playing against that natural angle that Samadri is so good at doing, taking the ball away from the right-hander. So he had to then have that as an added challenge for him, and never really got the power. This time goes through extra cover, inside out. Well, Gian Fernando, where has he been all innings? Comes back for 2, but already 6 from 2 balls. So it will end the over with a couple of runs. End of 19, 112 for 8.
Thanks, Adam.
$112 for 8, still 1 over remaining, but you don't expect the Thunderbolts with that stat batting lineup. 39 and 26 at the top, nothing else since. So Harmeet Singh, the captain, will bowl the final over.
Harmeet Singh also amongst wickets.
Almost could have been another wicket for him. Gauss was interested, coming down the track, Sandhu. I think it might have brushed the pad on the way. Coming back for 2, good running by Gian Fernando. Just to urge his team on, trying to get up to that 120 mark. They're desperately trying.
There would be a psychological benchmark to get to. Was in no position to play that shot. That came quickly as well. See, almost 3 stumps. The appeal was negated.
We'll switch it, and it goes straight up. Should be another wicket for Singh. Harmeet Singh strikes again, and the Thunderbolts, well, one word describes this innings: dominance. Badaraj takes the catch quite easily in the end, and the 9th goes down. It's Sanchit Sandhu. It's got to go.
Sanchit Sandhu wanted to be cheeky, and that ball was begging to be taken. Rishi Bharadwaj couldn't have taken a simpler catch all his life. Sandhu departs for 8, 114 for 9.
So make sure, clarify, put any seats and then...
Final wicket for the Lashings, Akashveer Singh. Well, he's mainly known for his bowling exploits, taking a lot of wickets for this Lashings team over the 2 seasons, but have to do a job for these remaining 4 deliveries. And the way that the Thunderbolts were able to brush aside that 108 yesterday with legs of Andrew Scouse, you would think that we fancy them chances to win this. Coming back for 2 off the outside edge. So Kian Fernando's definitely added in terms of,
good for me.
He's definitely added sort of some intensity to the innings since he's come. Obviously that outside edge boundary definitely will want to get up to 120 if there's any chance. Gonna hurry through for the single, run out chance. Don't like that single per se, Suhas, because you want to be the more experienced man. You want to face and not allow number 11 to bat these remaining 2 deliveries.
Yeah, with 2 deliveries left, he could have taken a chance by negating that single. Kian Fernando, now that he's already shown signs of striking the ball so cleanly.
Oh, look at this from Akashveer Singh. Well, let me eat my words quickly. He pulls out the reverse sweep, and he'll get a boundary as well to get them to that 120. Well, here we are, number 11. He's showing you that he wants a promotion.
That is a great shot.
Stylish from the young man, the under 19 in this Lashings team.
Battle of the Singhs. Batter gets the better of him. Beautiful shot indeed. It's something that Sandhu tried too, but couldn't execute. To be doing it first ball, you've got to be very special.
But this time, just flicked up. Work for extra cover to do, running up behind and takes it. And it means that the Thunderbolts, on the very last delivery, probably fittingly in the end, completely dismiss this SoCal Lashings team for 121. And an excellent display of bowling on consecutive days in this tournament. The Thunderbolts, this Seattle Thunderbolts team, are showing that they're a special team, but a dangerous one in this Western Division.
Harmeet Singh finishing with 3 wickets in the end. As he finishes his 4 overs, what a lovely catch. This is running backwards. It's not going to be easy, but he never took his eyes off the ball, and it's a good thing to do. It's something that he's been practicing for a while. Singh departs for 4. 121 SoCal Lashings bundle out. 122 is a magical number when Harmeet and co come out to bat.
We'll be very happy with that as he leads his men off. Harmeet Singh, the leader of the attack. But you look at how the seamers bowled. Samadri back in the wickets again. But of course, Akhilesh Bodogam set the tone, centre of screen, with his off spin, the tall man. Skavik was good, much improved today. So this Seattle Thunderbolts team, you can tell a team with confidence and real good touch. Well, here's how it unfolded for the Lashings. A much improved start by the openers, by the top 3. Getting off to 63 for none. There was a slow start in the power play, just got to 36. But since, real trouble in terms of a batting collapse. Nothing substantial from the rest, just to get up to 121. You really have to think. Against this formidable batting lineup, could struggle. In terms of the bowling.
It was terrific to see Seattle Thunderbolts with a ball in hand in this performance today. Shadley picked up a wicket. Akhilesh Bodogam, the pick of the bowlers, with 4 important wickets and lovely catches. Harmeet Singh finishes with 3. And Fani Simadri with his cutters was too good for SoCal Lashings.
Well, here's how things would have unfolded in terms of in that first innings. It was all the Seattle Thunderbolts, even though they had to start pretty difficultly at first, bowling to the 2 openers who got a partnership. Harpreet Singh was a bit tentative at the crease, looking to spend some time in the middle. He just nudged it around. This was Katani Clark who created this opportunity, and it was just put down by Crosswhite in the very first over. Then the aggression continued from Harpreet Singh. Like to play into that onside, especially in the power play with the 2 fielders out. Got a good boundary. Continued Harpreet Singh. Got his highest score of the tournament so far, but still wasn't substantial. Moran Posanapali was met with aggression in his first over by Katani Clark, who's so powerful down the ground. Went full, straight and back, and then a full toss gifted to him by Rahul Singh. Went 4 and then a maximum in consecutive deliveries. was so good down the ground. He's a strong player and it's showing a very needed performer for this Lashings team. But Simadri again was excellent. Went straight up in the air. Rohan Posanapali, a safe fielder. And from that wicket, a slow partnership. It was all the Thunderbolts from there. Rohan Posanapali, great in the field. Harpreet Singh tried to take on the off spinner. Soft dismissal after all the hard work had been done. And then the wickets began to tumble in a flurry. Not the right delivery to sweep. And then Dale Phillips, when that wicket fell, you just always knew they would struggle, the Lashings. A good Yorker. Elmore Hutchinson came out, played a couple of big blows down the ground from both ends. This was the biggest of that we've seen all weekend. And just held the pose for the Dafa News photographers, but then soft dismissal, and this is what it meant to Akhilesh Budogam. Real aggression, real fire, real power. He was gone, and then no real momentum in the innings throughout from the Lashings. Another wicket for Harmeet Singh. That was a stumping. The ball just deviating away off the surface. Sanchit Sandhu tried to play a couple shots, got a boundary here and there, but Abhimanyu Rajit held out in the deep down to deep square leg, and Budogam, who's been everywhere today with the ball. Final over bowled by Harmeet Singh, was able to pick up 2 wickets. One caught at mid-wicket in the infield, and then the fiery final delivery of the innings. He was able to pick up his 3rd. Well, Akash Veer Singh before that wicket was able to pull out the reverse sweep. Bit crafty from the number 11, but in the end, Harmeet Singh striking thrice, and the Lashings being restricted to 121 in the 20. And you think with this lethal Seattle Thunderbolts batting lineup, they'll bat themselves to get that 122 for victory, to pick up their 4th, of course, in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. But don't go anywhere. The likes of Andreas Gauss and many others will be in action very soon. We'll be back in a couple of minutes' time.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco. You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
Back underway here at the Prairie View Cricket Complex with this SoCal Lashings team. They started well, but really lost their way towards the end. 121 dismissed 4, and it means it should be another easy chase for the Seattle Thunderbolts, a team that made 108 look very small yesterday against the St. Louis Americans, chasing at this very venue. In action again, and the likes of Andreas Gauss will be very important. Crosswhite as well, opening the batting with him. Suhas Vedam alongside me.
Yeah, good joining you, Nikhil. Seattle Thunderbolts, they have a lot of bowling options, don't they? Almost all of them amongst the wickets. Rohan Posanapalli was someone who provided great stability, and Rahul Singh was expensive and taken off after 1 over. Akhilesh Podakam picked up 4 important wickets, and Harmeet 3 towards the end. Fani Simadri chipping in with 2.
Beautiful day at the Prairie View Cricket Complex. Final day of action in terms of this holiday weekend. Boy, has it been a treat to watch in terms of all the teams we've had. We've had the defending champions, Elmore Hutchinson. First run out for him in the sun in terms of at Prairie View with the new ball in hand. Want to see Rajit, especially now with a small total on the board, has to be very aggressive with his bowling options. Hutchinson is a genuine wicket taker in this Lashings team.
Would be interesting to see if he'll hurry the batsman on this kind of a track. The batters tend to be always on their foot, on their toes, and used to be put on the back foot. Then Hutchinson gives them something to sniff at very, very good pace.
First delivery coming up with the new ball, Hutchinson in hand. So here we go. Run chase, 122 needed for victory. Hutchinson from over the wicket. Straight up on the money straight away, but well timed by James Crosswhite, looking, of course, to establish himself in the tournament. Crosswhite.
James Crosswhite. He's played a lot of cricket in England. I'll be up against Hutchinson. James Crosswhite.
Down the leg side, we'll have to rebowl that one, Elmore Hutchinson, but definitely trying to be aggressive. You look at the field, does have this deep mid-wicket man. Tend to see a lot of these seamers in this tournament start with that man at deep mid-wicket. And again, but trying to be straight and on a shorter length, so it's why he has that protection, and the other man, the third man, out in the deep. So would have maybe like to see a slip, especially with Hutchinson and having that ability to push the ball across the right-hander. Want to see that slip in place. He's a man that can get movement off the surface. On the leg side again, second wide. Well, these Crosswhite brothers playing for the Seattle Thunderbolts team. James Crosswhite looking to get going in this tournament. Both brothers born in Australia. This one now down to the leg side. Boundary, just be a couple of runs. So off the mark now, Crosswhite himself. It's now 4 from the first 2 deliveries. But when I say he's born in Australia, he comes in with a big reputation. Also would have played for Scotland at the international level. So definitely comes in with some experience under his belt.
He has played a lot of cricket in England too, landing directly from there. To ask him, do you identify yourself as an Aussie or an Englishman? He says a bit of both, but always an Aussie at heart.
Much better in terms of the line. Much better, but I still want to see him be very full. Remember, they're only defending 121 runs. You have to put yourselves in wicket-taking positions, and these 4 overs from Elmore Hutchinson, very important that they're able to look to get a wicket early. Have to strike early. Don't have that luxury. Just the 18 runs so far. That's a much better delivery. Bringing the ball back in this time to the right-hander. Slow start for Crosswhite, yes, who also opened the batting. It was the first time for him. We're taking over from Ranawira.
A good delivery. That is the right length as well. Ball coming back in and a good pace. So far, so good for Elmo Hutchinson, barring those couple of wides. It's important that he tries the boundary balls.
He's trying to attack the stumps, Elmo Hutchinson, with the angle going across the right-hander, trying to bring the ball back in off the seam. So, Elmo Hutchinson looking still for that wicket. Much better in terms. That's where I want to see him. And I think if he's going to bowl that line of length, then he could possibly have a slip. And as I say that, he's bringing third man up in the circle.
That's fine.
Not too bad at this. Should try my hand at sort of maybe some captaincy, Suhas. Brings Gayan Fernando into the circle now. So third man comes up. Some trickery happening in the middle from Elmo Hutchinson. Another wide delivery. End of 1 over, 4 for none.
Hey, Sanchit, Sandhu.
Well, the previous innings from the Lashings definitely in serious trouble, and then of course they've got to take early wickets. A couple of reinforcements with the bat in hand. Rotation for Ranawira, who's been replaced by Rashid Bardwaj. Second game for him. Looking now to pick up their 4th win in this tournament. Boy, what would it mean, especially against, when you think about the other 2 teams who will be challenging in terms of the Golden State Grizzlies, who finished 1st in the Western Division last year, and the Silicon Valley Strikers, the defending champions. To the attack now. Sanchit Sandhu, it is, yes it is. So the man has led the wicket tally for the Lashings this season so far. 7 wickets for him. In the 5 matches, of course, this minor league 2022 championship presented by Sunoco. Where would we be without our corporate partners on board? Does have Katani Clark at long on and has a deep mid-wicket in place as well. So Andres Gausto, a man in real form, 250s in the tournament, working his way up in terms of that runs scoring leaderboard. And will be looking to continue right where he left off yesterday. Hasn't been dismissed now since that 71, so definitely today we'll be looking to pile on the runs. Loves to bat in this power play. And runs straight away for him. An awkward bounce to square leg, and it's going to be a boundary. Well, if that's not the best way to get off the mark, then I don't know what is.
Wonderful area chosen once again. What a way to get off the mark indeed. Lovely wrists, a beautiful flick. Andres Gausto is just continuing from where he left off. It's one of those games where he was less relieved and more disappointed that the game ended, because he was enjoying batting last night.
Excellent delivery with the slip in place, exactly where you want to be. The slips are as almost a fly slip man at short third. I want to see maybe though the introduction of that man next to the keeper, next to Dale Phillips, especially when you're going to bowl deliveries like that. Test line and length, bring the outside edge into play. Need to take this wicket of Gauss if you have any chance of winning this game.
Good movement after pitch. Those are encouraging signs for Sandhu.
So good, Andres Gauss. 7th leading run scorer in this tournament. Maybe some lateral movement as well for Sanchit Sandhu, who has caused problems. He's been expensive in the tournament so far. 7 wickets for Sandhu, but the key thing is that he's picked up wickets, had a knack for wicket taking. Economy rate of close to 9 runs and over so far.
That's covered middle. Middle.
Off the outside edge, but would you believe it? I just mentioned the need to have a slip. You need to take wickets if you are the Lashings. And of course, the next delivery goes straight to the slip region. 2 wide for Dale Phillips. Second boundary in the over.
9 runs already of this over. And that's a genuine opportunity. Where is that slip fielder? Especially while defending a total that's not daunting.
I think Dale Phillips, the captain, can have a word. He's more experienced coming into this team, leading the team for the first time today, can have a word with his bowler. Knows he wants to be on that good length, ball going away from the right-hander. Why not have the slip? Still no slip in place. No point trying to be defensive, no point trying to defend these runs. 121 has been shown by these Seattle Thunderbolts to be a walk in the park for them, so you have to look to take early wickets. Now that outside edge could be costly. Crosswhite, after struggling for 7 deliveries, finally gets off the mark. Played a lot of under-23 cricket at the highest level in Australia. Expensive start for Sandhu, still searching for that first wicket. This time again off the outside edge and again past the short third fielder. So it will be more runs for the Seattle Thunderbolts. End of 2, 17 for none.
Zuper is the world's most powerful field service management solution to work your way and drive more impact. As the most flexible and customizable app for your field operations, Zuper is field service your way. Learn more at zuper.co.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Well, a couple of strokes of fortune for the Seattle Thunderbolts in that last over. Crosswhite, 2 boundaries, both coming out off the outside edge. Have been a couple of misfields as well that's gone the way of the Thunderbolts. And when you're chasing 121, you start with 17. Well, you're well on your way for chasing that down, and chasing it down in quick time as well. Now 3rd in the Western Division, behind the Strikers and the Grizzlies. Now this is an interesting field from Elmore Hutchinson. He's brought up that 3rd man in the last over, and he has 2 in the onside. Obviously, he's trying to seam the ball back into the right-hander, but it's interesting that he has that long on in place. It tells you he's got to bowl a very full length. Of course, it could be that typical reverse psychology, trying to outsmart the batter, thinking that he's going to bowl straight and then pushing one wide to hit the off stump. With 3rd in the circle, won't be around. So Gauss, slow start for him. What an innings it was. You would have witnessed Suhas yesterday. 11 boundaries, 2 maximums in that 71.
A terrific innings indeed. And it took a bit of time for him to get going. There were phases in that innings that Andres Gauss explored. Wasn't the bam-bam kind of an innings that he's known for. Someone who's extremely mature, coaches a lot of young kids as well, and talk to him, he says that's where I derive a lot of energy from.
The one thing he's really benefited from, earlier this year in March, the MLC would have had a Houston challenge here where a couple of the MLC teams would have competed against the USA international team. Gauss was excellent for the MLC West team in that tournament, and obviously on this very venue would have been able to acclimatize the conditions. Very grassy surface. He knows exactly how this one plays at Prairie View. Just mentioned yesterday about the fact that he's worked so hard coming into this season. Everything's gone well for him. Another dot delivery. Dream start, especially last season. You look at the 399 runs he scored. He got a lot of starts for the Thunderbolts, but the reason they weren't able to win more games was because obviously they have a big reliance on him, but he wasn't able to kick on to those big 50s. Last season only 3. This season already 2 half centuries under his belt, and be looking for a 3rd.
That's gold dust for Seattle Thunderbolts. He's got the field for that shot indeed. He's got a wall on the offside. Elmo Hutchinson. Just one run of the over so far. Needs to get this last delivery in the right area to close it out beautifully.
Just one run from the over. Has to finish well. Hutchinson. In the air, but over that man. It's good awareness by Crosswhite, knowing the point up in the circle. First real boundary off the middle of the bat for James Crosswhite. His third though, and a good end to the over. 22 for none.
Yeah, I know, but still.
4 extras already in 3 overs. 22 for no loss. Under his house, a runner ball 6. It's James Crosswhite who's on a runner ball 12. Usually you see House scoring a ton of runs while Crosswhite gets into his groove. The scorecard suggests that House is playing the second fiddle. Very soon that might change. Time for spin from Abhimanyu.
Rajit will come into the attack. Just one over for Sandu. So,
Well, this was a fresh one.
looking to the ball.
Very nice yesterday.
Those hitters will have a tough task though, bowling to the right-handed Gauss with the small side, defending a no fielder on the cover boundary. Has to be very precise and be very straight. And there it is. I thought it just beat that extra cover fielder. He'll feel like he really missed out there, Andreas Gauss. You can see the disappointment on his face. He knew it was a half volley. Huge gap between cover and extra cover. Really should have pounced upon and on that opportunity. Reverse sweep this time. Another dot delivery.
Not spinning.
Rajab starts well. Just 2 dots. This time aerial, and in that gap, he was searching for it the very first delivery. Work for Gian Fernando to do. And it goes, he just cuts it off with that big left foot. Sashi Sanchez Sandu comes back for the easy 2.
He's making his intentions clear here. House. It's something that he's allowed to do in the first 6 overs as well. Just chip over the infield.
Again, trying for that reverse sweep option. Hitting into the smaller side, he wants to take it on, especially with third up in the circle. He knows if he gets bad on that, fine enough, it's going to be a boundary. A huge gap between the keeper and that short third fielder. Again, looking to maneuver the ball in that area. He's got intent. Knows he's covering his off stump, knows exactly where it is.
Catch it!
Go from there, this time over point. But he's just played and toyed with these fielders. I'm so surprised that he has no fielder on the boundary in the offside. Not often you see for an off spinner. So Rajit under the pump. Hence.
James Crosswhite's quite happy. I beg your pardon, it's House on strike, who's quite happy going inside out and letting the outfield take over.
Team now moves into double figures. Really surprised that the off spinner opted to bowl with no cover fielder, no sweeper on the boundary. No, obviously you want to be aggressive. Asking the question, but down the track a long way. Always going to be hard to give that one. End of 4, 29 for none.
1, 2, 3.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
Well, scorching heat, midday sun here at the Prairie View Cricket Complex. Here was the last delivery of the last over. The spinner asking the question, Abhimanyu Rajit. What's your verdict on that one, Suhas? Out or not out?
It looked straight to me. Looked like it was going to hit the middle of the middle stump.
Gian Fernando will come into the attack for the first time. And very interesting how they've used Fernando. He's coming after missing the first game. Played every game since and has been in the wickets. Man from Sri Lanka. I also think they could use him a bit more with the bat in hand. So the seam of Gian Fernando into the attack. On the money straight away. Not far in terms of where the two teams were. We just compare the Lashings position. 25 without loss after 4 overs. But the Thunderbolts obviously have the benefit of knowing exactly what they need. That ball coming back in onto the stumps of Gauss. So I've seen bowlers from that end, both Hutchinson and now Fernando, getting that seam movement back into the bowler. 12 wickets amongst the 2 seasons now. Good batting from Gauss. Has to make sure he takes the game deep. Wellesley has some time with the fast bowler on Suhas. Is there over-reliance on Andres Gauss? He got 178 runs coming into this, only dismissed twice. How do you think this Thunderbolts batting lineup fares if he doesn't fire at the top of the order?
It's a very good question, and I realize that there are new heroes cropping up as well. I told you that Rishi Bharadwaj was able to win them a game by playing through the crucial times. Harmeet Singh has got some game time as well with the bat in hand too. It's not a fragile middle order.
We haven't had the opportunity to see Harmeet Singh in these 2 games, but he's striking out over 200 in the first 3 games, in his first 3 innings that he's played so far in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship.
And Rahul Singh as well. What a terrific half-century or nearabouts back in Seattle. That was against the East Bay Blazers. So the middle order is looking fine. They have got the game time.
Really good delivery, I tell you that. Pacific Conference, more importantly, the Western Division. Do you think about the Strikers, the defending champions, the Grizzlies, both of those teams in action here at Prairie View as we speak, but then also the East Bay Blazers, who would have split 1-1 against the Seattle Thunderbolts. That is the group of death by a long way, and to pick 2 teams to come out of there is going to be very tough as this tournament goes on, which is what makes every game so crucial. Excellent delivery. This is a really good first over by Fernando.
There's always a question whether to remove Hutchinson and bring on Fernando. The captain decided to do so, and he's done so well so far. Good change in pace.
Yeah, no width on the off stump, outside the off stump, and it's because he has no fielder in the offside, the deep, just the 2 on the onside, outside the circle. But also, Gauss will know he just has to penetrate that infield and he will get a boundary. End of 5, a good start for the Thunderbolts, 31 for none.
Back in the game, boys. Back in the game, boys. Stop. On this track, 700 over. Won't be easy.
Suhas, there was that stacked Group B. You can see the Western Division that I'm talking about. You got the Strikers, the Grizzlies, the Thunderbolts, and the East Bay Blazers. Good luck picking 2 from there.
Seattle Thunderbolts, of course, would have played more games just after this one, while if they win, they get to 6 to 8, 6 from 8. Silicon Valley Strikers are already there, simultaneously playing another game.
And that one in the loss column for the Grizzlies coming yesterday against that strong Dallas Mustangs, 5-0 in terms of 5 wins for the Mustangs. Corey Anderson and his men have been fantastic in that side of the bracket. But it's all about the Lashings. They'll need a win, but also a wicket before they can even think about the result. Abhimanyu Rajit comes into the attack again for his second. The off spinner, both a good first over. Just gave it away with that final delivery, but
till it turns.
another dot delivery from Rajat. Very interested, Suhas, as to why Rajat is not bowling with a deep cover. 4 on the ring, but it's just easy pickings bowling that off-stump line. If he gets one through, it will be a boundary. On the leg side.
He wants the batter to go inside out to try and take that risk. That's what I think, with no deep cover in place. He's trying to play to his strengths of Crosswhite over here.
And if he's going to bowl that line, what's the two this long on fielder doing?
Oh, that's a tough shot. That's a tough shot.
Another one, but you can see the moment one of these batters get it through, get it past those fielders, it's going to be a boundary. They know that. They've been attacking and trying to pierce that gap. Just the 1 run so far. Much slower this time, and he gets it well. That's the power of James Crosswhite. We haven't seen him in terms of this manner, dominant manner so far in this tournament, but with shots like that, it's going to help his confidence as he goes through the tournament.
Yeah, he's unfurling his shots now. Just get a feeling that his play is also to induce a field change. No half measures once again from Crosswhite.
Katani Clark was at that long on boundary but had no chance, and all of a sudden that required less than a run a ball now. Just 86 needed for victory. And you think not long before a few of those Lashings heads go down, because they would be on their way to what would be their 4th loss in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. I mean, angles like this, supreme camera stuff. So privileged to bring you this type of coverage on Willow TV and of course the MLC network. It's been because of our sponsorship we've had this season. Dafa News, Sunoco, and of course our title sponsors Toyota, 2nd year running.
Oh yeah.
Good delivery from Rajat. I think he has to be there, but we'd still like to see that cover fielder, because even if you want to entice the batters to go over the top, you then have also a chance of taking a catch at that cover boundary. The moment he gets the right delivery, Crosswhite, he will go over that cover region.
That's it,
Another good delivery though. It was quick, but it was misfielded, and there it is. No fielder, no protection in the deep. Costly miss, and it goes through point. So 2nd boundary in consecutive deliveries for the Thunderbolts.
It's coming from one of the best fielders at the side, Kashmir. 9 out of 10 times would have stopped it.
Stand in, Jay, please.
Really should have done a better job. He will have a part to play with the ball in hand. Been in the wickets, Akashvir Singh, the under-19 player in this Lashings team, but really costly miss. Lashings under the pump. Crosswhite though, he's taken over the aggressive role from Gauss in this inning so far. Definitely looked the part. Big weight taken off your shoulders when you know you only need to score at 6 runs and over throughout the innings. You can play a lot freer. End of 6, the power play, 40 for none.
Let's go, G.
40 for no loss, as the first power play is done and dusted. Andres Kraus 14 of 17. James Crosswhite is the one taking the initiative at the moment, 21 of 19.
One thing I want to look at in terms of the 2 innings, you can see they're not far off these 2 teams, and it's because they were 36 for none after the first 6, and you thought the Lashings had the perfect platform to fire and get up to a substantial total, but
Power play up.
really did struggle as they progressed throughout the innings. 37 runs. They lost for just 7 wickets before getting to that 121 being dismissed.
It's a very relaxed tug out there. They understand that they're not chasing a big total. They've gotten off to a decent start.
There's a lot of Keelish, Badogam there, just chilling, as they say in the Caribbean, where I'm from. Just feet up after a toiling 4 overs, but it's been a tough 4 days for these teams as well. They've played a lot of cricket. The Houston Hurricanes, who will come up next against this Lashings team, the home team, would have played 4 games in 4 days. Fernando to continue. Again, has been very straight but consistent and testing the defense of Andreas Gauss. Excellent work by Fernando so far.
Would it be Fernando to provide the first breakthrough? He's done everything right so far. Not giving away the runs. Trying to keep the pressure on. No loose deliveries.
This time it's picked up, hit into the onside, but there is that deep mid-wicket fielder, so just been a single. And they've done well to control Andreas Gauss today, but he's played the situation well. No real risk needed, especially with Crosswhite striking at over 100 at the other end.
Yeah, easily put away. And didn't want to take that additional risk as well, because he understands that it's not a big total.
Moving around in this crease. James Crosswhite looking to sort of play with the mind of Gian Fernando, who's been very consistent on that good length, attacking the top of off. And has forced the defensive shots from both these opening batters. A little wide at that time, looking to open the face straight to the fielder though.
Half an over. Half an over done and dusted with now more than that, just a single given away. Fernando is doing the right things here. He's keeping it tight, but he's got to provide the wicket as well. I'm very sure that SoCal Lashings would be saying to themselves, it's a matter of 10 good balls containing the Seattle Thunderbolts lineup. That'll be difficult in the 120 allotted deliveries.
Again coming down the track, trying to get close to the length. He wants to Crosswhite. He's coming back as well. Good running, good initiative being shown by these two. He's wearing Sewag at the back of his shirt, James Crosswhite, so got a big reputation to live up to. Big shoes to fill. Virender Sewag, one of the greats in the international game.
Yeah, he's got 319 as well to go with it. We know this is what Sehwag did when he toured Pakistan.
He toured the world, really. Global icon, Virender Sewag. Well, a dot will end the over. End of 7, 43 for none.
His 7 overs done and dusted with. And SoCal Lashings have decided to go with 4 bowlers. That's the problem here. The wickets column hasn't ticked. Elmo Hutchinson, after 2 wonderful overs up top, has been held back. Sanchit Sandhu's first went for 13 and was taken away from the attack, taken out of it. Abhimanyu Rajput. Raj has gone well for 2. In his 2 overs, Gian Fernando has gone for 5 runs. 43 for no loss. The wickets column had to tick to make them stay in the game. SoCal Lashings know that more than ever.
Well, the youngster Akash Veer Singh will come into the attack. I was saw him the very first weekend of this minor league championship. Was very impressed. Took 17 wickets last season for this Lashings team. The leading wicket taker in 2021. So he will make his first impact. Look to make his first impact for this Lashings team. And boy, do they need a wicket. Have to try to cut into the batting lineup so far of this Thunderbolts team. Yet to take a wicket, yet to prize one in that wickets column. So outside the power play now, Singh can have 5 outside the circle. He's got the traditional deep cover and deep mid wicket, but also a cow corner. That may be more for James Crosswhite, who's very strong in that area in the leg side because of the bottom hand dominance.
He's picked up 22 wickets. Kashveer Singh,
Use that pace here, boy.
his 20 outings, given with 23 runs as well.
Out appeal and given straight away this time. Gauss thought he was outside the line. Akash Veer Singh though celebrates. He struck early in his first delivery. The under 19. This is why he took the most wickets for them last year and is why he's brought into the attack.
Singh strikes right away. An important moment in this game. Wanted to be cheeky there. House misses it. The umpire had raised his finger by the time he could look up. Akash Veer Singh, watch out for the celebration, which is a tribute to Sidhu Moosewala. House departs for 15, 43 for 1.
So Ghost, the big wicket goes down. He mentioned he's not going to be able to fire in every single innings, but 2 50s in 2 innings. Another start for him. He'll be disappointed he wasn't able to kick on. So
Goodbye, boys. Come on.
Badaraj goes to the middle. Man brought into the 11 today, replacing Runawera, who came in at a similar position yesterday. Job to be done by the Thunderbolts.
Rishi Bharadwaj, 52 runs in 3 matches. He's replacing a left-hander though. His craft is a righty. Rishi Bharadwaj gets a game, an important game.
Abhi, on 1. No 1.
To battle the struggle against strain it was back in Seattle. Was a little injured, but he carried his team home. Rishi Bharadwaj, the sun's bright and sunny again. It's been playing hide and seek for a while, Nikhil.
Come up 1.
Well, there's no hiding for Badaraj. He's got to be there for this team. Still 79 runs needed. Facing Akash Veer Singh. Like questions he's asking. We did see a lot of purchase for the likes of Harmeet Singh, Bodogam on some occasions. This was the wicket taken by Akash Veer Singh of Andreas Ghost. Put on your umpire's cap here, Suhas. Hit on the bat leg. Was it outside the line?
Oh, it's a tight call indeed. Andreas Ghost definitely thinks so. And it's the second time you've asked me to put on the umpire's cap. I'd gently like to put it back on you.
Inside edge, almost trickling back onto the stumps. James Crosswhite, though, can clearly see that want to go into the onside, and it's why they have the cow corner in place. We struck a boundary there already. Again, look, firm bottom hand grip, causing him to play a lot of those deliveries into the onside. Worked into the offside. Just be a single. Got to manage this situation well, though. You just lost the wicket. Probably have to mitigate somewhere, so you don't want to have a collapse of wickets too quickly.
That is perhaps why Rishi Bharadwaj is more of mover of the scorecard before he gets going. Has been sent up top, number 3. He's played a lot of spin back in Delhi. And played for Uttar Pradesh as well. A lot of wonderful innings back in Atlanta for the club. 180, an unforgettable 180.
Oh, no. Like that shot.
Akash Veer Singh still having the 1 delivery remaining in the over, but thought maybe we could have seen him in the power play. It's always a risk, but of course you need wickets. He's a leading wicket taker from 2021, already 5 this season. So for Badaraj, making some adjustments.
Nikhil, I'll tell you what, you will see him in the power play very, very soon. He's got to get that extra confidence.
Quick single stolen. A good way to end a good over for the Lashings. Much more of that needed. 46 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, तेरे घर लाने का।
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
So back with the action. Still some 76 more required for victory, just from 72 deliveries though, so plenty of time, no real risk needed. Fernando, who's brought an excellent 2, will come back into the attack. A good move by Phillips to keep the aggression on and try to search for wickets. You have no choice at this stage.
It's got to be about wickets. Captain believes that Fernando can provide him the second breakthrough. Rishi Bharadwaj 2 of 3 as of now. And loves to rotate the strike a little more.
Trying to flash outside the off stump. Is it too late for a slip? Obviously, we didn't see it with the new ball. We saw an outside edge of James Crosswhite, which went for 4. The captain, Dale Phillips, can he go to a slip at this stage? Looking for wickets, getting some away movement.
Rishi Bharadwaj, a new man in. A slip wouldn't be a bad idea. But what do you sacrifice is the bigger question to have a slip in place.
He has the 5 boundary riders, 2 in the onside at the deep backward square and deep mid wicket. I don't know if he necessarily needs that. Haven't seen many short deliveries from Fernando. Doesn't know if he has enough pace as well to really challenge with that bouncer. So I feel like that deep backward square leg fielder is being wasted. Possibly get him in to the offside and create more pressure.
Stopping. Yeah.
See that deep backward square. And here we go, brought into the circle for Crosswhite. So clearly Dale Phillips has got one ear on the commentary. Sends back the man at sort of that cow corner region. Loves to go in that area, James Crosswhite, with that powerful bottom hand. Likes to go across the line. Something we've seen from a lot of the power hitters in the game. Liam Livingston comes to mind, Chris Gale, who just have a solid base and strike from the hips. Something we've seen from Crosswhite with the 4 boundaries he's hit so far.
Immediately, Rishi Bharadwaj wants to have a word with James. I think the conversations about how to get this over sorted out. Only a single of the first 3 balls. Nothing to rush.
This time cut. There's a field in the deep who has to some work to do. Harpreet Singh, and won't be able to get there. So has to go for a boundary, and it's delicately placed by Crosswhite, who's watched for a long time, been there for a long time. Good batting, good smart cricket from the Thunderbolts as they bring up 50.
They didn't try to hit it hard at all. Just opening the face of the bat and guiding it down. The torque as well, taking it further away from Harpreet, who dives in vain.
Also got awareness as well. Huge gap between that straight cover fielder and the point. He's now come across a bit wider. And there we go. Oh, this is better. Even better this time. And he's just playing with the lashings. One on the right side of point, the next in between the point and short third. Back-to-back boundaries.
The further was more delicate, the first one rather. Very, very accurate in putting it in the gap. Lovely placement once again. The outfield takes over. It's like this batter is having a conversation with the outfield. Just give me anything beyond the 30-yard circle. I'll take it forward.
Of course, another action, a lot of action happening at the Prairie View Cricket Complex. Just helps it this time, and it goes over the boundary for 6. The fielder does get a hand on it, Akashveer Singh, but he's not a tall man. And all of a sudden, 14 runs come from the last 2 deliveries of the over, and Gian Fernando, who was so consistent, has gone the distance now. 61 for 1 after 9.
James Crosswhite, 38 of 29, as he developed a liking to the second half of the over from Fernando. Rishi Bharadwaj just walked in 3 of 5 for him. Andres House is the only man dismissed for 15. 61 for 1 after 9 overs, Seattle Thunderbolts.
He just hit his head.
So Dale Phillips, the captain, he's got to think long and hard about how his team can get back into this game with still 11 overs left. Looking to shuffle his options. Abhimanyu Rajip, who was the previous captain. Dale Phillips taking over now, so they have to work together. Some planning, some discussion going on with Akashveer Singh, who's already struck in his first over. Probably about the length that he will need to bowl, especially to James Crosswhite, who will start off strike. So I'm not sure what's happening here. This is a surprising move by the Lashings. Akashveer Singh, who bowled 1 over Suhas. And took a wicket in his very first.
The only one to do so.
3 runs and he's out of the attack. So Rajat comes back in.
Go.
It's a last-minute decision. A decision that Akashveer has taken nicely. Usually you mentally prepare yourself as soon as you get the ball in hand to suddenly be told you've got to wait a little more. This was the final delivery.
Yeah.
Just a defensive stroke from Rashid Bhardwaj. I don't know what could be the thinking there. Maybe the fact that he's an off spinner. Rajat trying to spin the ball in to the right-hander to make him, force him to hit into the bigger side. But even so, Akashveer Singh is bowling so well. This time an edge and in the air and gone. So clearly the captain's decision in the end proving right, because they've struck 2 and 2 now. The spinners, and Rajat, the previous captain, gets his first. Bhardwaj, he's got to go, got to depart. Soft dismissal for him.
Decision 25 to have Abhimanyu bowling. Rishi Bharadwaj knew immediately that he was in trouble. Didn't get it from the best part of the bat. Straight into the hands of the fielder.
So Bhardwaj, no real contribution from him. He's going for 3, 61 for 2. So the brothers in the middle together, Adam and James Crosswhite. They'll enjoy this. Suhas batting together. Good understanding, good rapport between them. How many times in their professional careers they would have had the opportunity to bat together?
They did many a time. But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's the backyard cricket that we played together which got the best out of us.
So,
Come up one.
Abhimanyu Rajat
Out covering, center stuff.
ready picking up a wicket. He's just second delivery of his third over. Been a slow start to the campaign for Adam Crosswhite, who we know he's capable of. Another one of those power hitters, strong bottom hand players like his brother, who we have at the other end, who's well set on 38 so far. He needs some support though. Off the inside edge, in a half of the bat, I should say. Will have to come back for 2, just be 1. This was the wicket.
Yeah, Adam Crosswhite comes to the middle because of this. Rishi Bharadwaj wanted to cut it over point, instead gets it from the outside edge. Good catch.
So Rajat, how does he bowl to James Crosswhite? The umpire is having a word with Abhimanyu Rajat, who's bowling. And I'm not sure what is going on here, but the Lashings, well, this won't help their cause, needing to only having 60 to defend. So just 60 required for victory, and things going wrong for the Lashings, even though they just picked up a wicket. So you think maybe that would help in terms of the confidence of the team. Here it is again, a confrontation between Crosswhite and Rajat. That's what high pressures of this 2022 Toyota Minor League. Of course, there was a change in captaincy. Rajat not the captain anymore after the first 3 games. Dale Phillips taking over from him. So umpire having a stern word with him, Abhimanyu Rajat. Just took a wicket though. Thought he would be a happy man.
Talk with the ball, Abhi. Talk with the
He was
ball.
all fired up because of that wicket, maybe.
Catch it.
This time it's full and in the gap. That won't help his cause in terms of happiness. Met with brute aggression from James Crosswhite.
Abhi.
No, that's a good shot. And it's always better to let the bat do the talking.
But it was actually his brother that he took it up with. I'm not sure Adam Crosswhite, the poor guy's only now come to the crease, 1 from 1. Clearly Abhimanyu Rajat saw something that he's not very happy about.
You had a correlation between the temper and captaincy. You've seen him more, of course. Nikhil?
Yeah, that's it, that's
Before
it.
delivery.
One D back.
Not sure what would that correlation be. I don't know if that has a reasoning behind him losing the captaincy, but I think also it just could be because they've lost 3 important games. May want that bit of extra experience to have Dale Phillips, a man that comes in from New Zealand with 17 first-class games under his belt. You want him to lead the side, but Rajat clearly getting a bit too aggressive in terms of his approach. Just taking a wicket in this over. Very slow delivery, and it'll just be a single. Won't mind that too much, Adam Crosswhite. Wanted 2, but won't be on. So end of the 10th halfway stage, 68 for 2, and just 54 away.
Yeah, the halfway stage. You could see the Seattle Thunderbolts starting quickly and then a little slump when the wicket fell. SoCal Lashing picked up after the 8th over, and they went on to score 120 odd. 122 is the magical number Seattle Thunderbolts are after. They've got 8 wickets to get there and 10 more overs to spare.
Look at all those dots at the end of that worm. It's the wickets that fell in quick succession. Lost another 9 wickets after being 77 for 1 after 13 overs. Harpreet Singh is going to come into the attack. Did see him bowl a couple of overs last season. Clearly wanting to go to spin. Not sure why Akash Veer Singh hasn't been brought back into the attack after just 1 over. The Lashings, well, they need to find something in this tournament. Have to pick up wins quickly. They're in a tough division in that western side of the Pacific Conference. Just 1 wicket for Harpreet Singh. The 443 runs, don't be scared. It's not how much he's conceded, it's how much he's actually scored with the bat.
Let's go, Ray!
They're going at 6.8, Seattle Thunderbolts.
Oh, yeah!
Starts well with the wide outside the off stump.
The umpire thought about it for just a little while.
Oh, 1!
Be another singer. I can't explain this though. You have Harpreet Singh come into the attack, a part-timer, but you have your under-19 young player in the team who's taken a wicket and 3 runs in his first over, and he's out of the attack. He looked seemingly disappointed when he was not given that next over, and instead Abhimanyu Rajat was given it.
I'm trying to solve the same conundrum. I think he's holding him back for a matchup, perhaps. We've seen so many matchups in this format of the game.
This time pulled in the air, but just falls short of that cow corner fielder. Actually, Akash Veer Singh seems to be off the field now, so maybe nursing some niggle. I'll show you that after this delivery, but Akash Veer Singh animated in his discussions with the coach. You can see there, sitting down, icing that right hand, the bowling hand. So I wonder if that's been a problem. He's warming up still though. It shows you his eagerness. He wants to come onto the field. Still bowling. You love to see this from the young players though. The excitement. He wants the ball. Get him on into the attack. He's already taken a wicket and wants more. He's hungry for more.
Harpreet has done well so far.
It's just easy going so far for the Thunderbolts. They won't mind this. 4 already in the over. They only need 5. Still 2 deliveries remaining.
You can't even play cricket, so I'd shut up.
50 now needed.
Hey? You're no good at the game. Guys.
The umpire getting into action, wants to have a word with the captain.
He swears at me again, I'll keep talking. He's not swearing to you. He did. He's not to me. He's just talking bullshit. Come on, guys.
Yes. Inamdar.
Oh!
Much better.
Not a bad over from Harpreet Singh. So far, 5 deliveries, just 4 runs, but obviously you need wickets. So one more delivery remaining in this 11th over.
Stay! Stay!
just above 6.5 runs per over. The Thunderbolts, and Crosswhite doing the right thing, using his experience to manage the situation well. You just need 50 easy goings. No need to have any loss of wickets. So final delivery, a dot ball, 72 for 2.
That's over,
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app with people who help leading companies transform through technology? Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Yeah, for sure.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Abhi!
Well, he's back, Akash Veer Singh, after icing that right hand. And looks like he's going to come back into the attack as well.
Abhi, you gotta go!
Abhimanyu Rajat was just... No, actually, Akash Veer Singh is going to the boundary, so he's still warming up, still wanting to bowl. But clearly, the captain, Dale Phillips, sees something else in Rajat. Going back to him for a third over, he would have just taken the wicket, of course, of Badraj. Right call for you, Suhas.
It's going to be a battle within a battle, that's for sure. And Adam Crosswhite up against Abhimanyu.
Let's go, Abhi!
This tournament, of course, presented by Sunoco. Wouldn't be possible without our corporate partners on board. What a season it's been so far. Just 2 weekends in. I know it feels like a long time. It's because of the action. We've been having so much fun. But after this weekend, after today, we refuel and go again in the third weekend, of course. Fueling this tournament, Sunoco. Morgan Hill for the premium coverage next weekend on Willow TV and the MLC Network. But they won't be studying next weekend just yet. The Thunderbolts have to win this.
Adam Crosswhite gets an easy full toss to be quietly guiding it to pick up a single. Gives it to his brother James to continue.
But Dale Phillips is coming to have a word with Rajat. The umpire is getting involved as well. So, Manu Rajat, well, he's a very animated cricketer. Likes to get involved, but clearly the umpires have seen something that they're not too happy with. Dale Phillips, the captain, now in discussions.
It's good to see him smile to mollify the situation.
He's anything like his brother Glenn Phillips, two very light-hearted people in terms of always making good of every situation. Two fantastic cricketers to watch as well, the Phillips brothers. Glenn Phillips, who's had so much success for New Zealand, but also at the CPL level for the Jamaica Tallawahs, the Barbados Royals. And his brother has come to the US, has started really well as well. So it's very exciting to watch both the Phillips brothers in action. Seen them up close, Glenn Phillips in the CPL and now Dale Phillips here in the United States.
He's gonna kill me time limit. I'm gonna cook it. Oh, what?
Full delivery, and Akash Veer Singh has got some work to do, extra cover.
Nice,
does
Akash.
really well. Not looking too injured at the moment, Akash Veer Singh. Lightning in the field.
Keep finding that length, Abhi. Keep finding that length.
And he's got slightly more energy as well compared to the others. He's just got off that bench. He'll be eager to put in those slides once again.
Oh, that's it, one
Staying down the ground, another easy single.
One's is good, one's is good.
So, Abhimanyu Rajat, 3 deliveries remaining in his spell, but clearly, definitely in need of a wicket.
Oh, ball.
Another easy single. This is good game management by these two. Already got their quota, they're already the 5 in the over required. Still 2 deliveries remaining. Crosswhite 3 away from a half century. Would be his first of the tournament. Be really happy with this run out for his team. James Crosswhite. So Rajat trying to make a difference. Already picked up 1. Down the leg side though, has to re-ball that one. what about his brother, Adam Crosswhite? Come to the middle, 6 from 6, done his job. Just fed the strike to his more senior man at the crease. This time, will pull and pull really well. Work to be done. The dive comes out, not enough. And with that boundary, he gets the 50, a first in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship for James Crosswhite. Knows the job is not finished yet, wants to hit the winning runs and be there to the end. But a good quality innings for one of your leaders in the team.
Assuming responsibility, James Crosswhite. Subdued celebrations because he knows the job's yet to be done. Getting to 62 runs total in 3 games. He's contributed a half century in this one. Well compiled indeed. Didn't try to match Andres Howe shot for shot as well. Tried to take pressure off him initially by taking the attack to the opposition.
Umpire again wanting to have a word with Rajit. Just one delivery remaining in his spell. Already has conceded the 10 runs in the over. Clearly they're not happy about something, but the good thing for the Thunderbolts is it's not allowing the momentum to be broken. Because even with all this stoppage of play, the ball is in his hand. They're still continuing along, not getting flustered by any tactics from the Lashings to just slow things down. You expect that from your 2 experienced members, 2 experienced overseas players in the middle order. Very slow delivery and should come through for an easy single. Possibly an overthrow as well, but ends the 12th over. Rajip's spell is finished. He's just taken 1. End of 12, 83 for 2.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
What do you think about Dafa News, Toyota, Sunoco? Wouldn't be possible without our corporate partners in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. These 2 in the middle, though, I mentioned in a couple of overs ago, that over-reliance Suhas on Andreas Gauss. I think the fact that Crosswhite has been able to get a half century will help the Thunderbolts and their confidence in their batting lineup as well.
Definitely shall. Definitely will.
Anytime that butt comes out, never good for the players in the middle. Comes with reprimand and very serious, that small red book for these umpires.
Harpreet's got to provide the 3rd breakthrough here. Was very miserly in his first over, gave away just 4. More importantly, there were 2 troublesome deliveries as far as the batter was concerned.
Harpreet Singh. Just the 1 over for him. Part-timer, hasn't seen much of him with the ball in hand over the 2 seasons. Known for his batting exploits. Better return with the bat in hand, but want to build on that. The Lashings, though, in real trouble of facing their 4th defeat of this tournament. At the bottom of that Western Division. Very quick delivery.
They'll just tell him to single, right?
And equally quick a single as well. It's that phase of the game where the partnership can prosper without much risk being taken because the equation's under control as far as Seattle Thunderbolts are concerned.
Couldn't have asked for much more from Adam Crosswhite. In all 7 of his deliveries, he's been able to just get off strike. That's all that's been required. Leg by signal.
And James Crosswhite doing the bulk of the scoring. It's one of those rare games as well where Andres House took a bit of time and James Crosswhite started to score freely. It's good to see that he's taking the pressure off the man who usually provides the flying start, and that sort of settles the question as well that it's a well-rounded team or no.
Doesn't get it as much as he would have wanted, but looking to pull much squarer than that. Nonetheless, though, Crosswhite gets the desired result, gets a single and gets off strike. 36 now needed to win. Should be a walk in the park with 8 wickets in hand. Plenty of time, less than 5 runs and over required. And even though they haven't hit much boundaries in the last 3 or 4 overs, the main thing is that they've been able to pick up the 1s and 2s. All that's required, managing the situation, playing to the situation. Sweeps this and sweeps it fine. Bat on it. A good shot from Adam Crosswhite, who's watched from the other end for a while. And he gets into the boundary. First for him. She given leg buys off the pad. So a very quick delivery tells you the pace from Harpreet Singh.
Yeah, Harpreet Singh trying to push it through. It's a little too full. I would be telling himself any other day. Perhaps a bit of leg stump on it. I expected better from finally inside the circle, but no chance for the fielder.
Goes again across the line. Asking the question, Singh, but umpire Imamda are not interested. So a dot to end the over. End of 13, 90 for 2.
It was like the stump. It hit the stump, the bill was like this. It was like locking up. I don't know how. Look at that, it doesn't come on.
SoCal Lashings. But towards 13, 14 to 15, a lot of dots, and that became the big problem because they did not get the crescendo finish. Seattle Thunderbolts, that red worm peeping above.
That one hit the bed?
Yeah, the second half, getting some momentum.
So the Lashings, well, they're desperately needing some wickets from here. You'd think it would be almost impossible. Just 31 runs to defend. One big over could end it, but Elmore Hutchinson, he's got other ideas. They want to get some wickets as well. It's just 7 runs for him. Conceded in the 2 overs, bowled. Came in at number 5 today. Must comment on that. I think credit to the Lashings. They've sort of wasted him with the bat in hand throughout this tournament, so I'm glad to see added responsibility. Someone that can really bail you out of tough situations. They don't go so well for him today, but he showed that he had the power with those long levers to clear the boundary quite easily. Just surveying the field, James Crosswhite, in terms of the fielders on in the deep, third man, deep cover. Mid off up in the circle, but he's got long off and a deep mid wicket. So again, likes to be very straight, especially to the right-hander. He has protection for it as well.
Just quickly, is that the center one still? Center?
SoCal Lashings. Elmore Hutchinson to strike and strike big. Not 1 but 2 wickets perhaps to set the cat amongst the pigeons. At the moment, it's a simple and easy cruise for Seattle Thunderbolts. 32 away and 7 overs in hand to get their change in field now. Fine leg drops back. Fernando will provide his services there. He's moving a little squarer as well. I think he's going to masquerade as a deep backward square too, or somewhere in the middle now.
Good delivery, excellent start, and again a change of angles for Elmore Hutchinson. Now bowling around the wicket, looking to angle the ball in to Crosswhite. We saw early on with the new ball, he was happy to go around and push it across. Now with the angle, trying to seam it away, and does just that. Straightens actually, doesn't get much seam movement, sideways movement.
A good thinking from Elmore Hutchinson. He's got to make the batter play. Anything which is slightly difficult to negotiate, James would be quite happy to leave it alone.
Really good short delivery, aggression. The line was so important at the head. Direction to the body of Crosswhite. He does have this bit of extra pace, Elmore Hutchinson.
And bit of movement too after pitching. So well directed. Dale Phillips would have loved to collect it at that height.
4.8 needed an over. Very easy at this stage. Want to get over the line. Crosswhite will be important. See again, over the shoulder height. Scambled for the quick run. That's good running, good backing up from Adam Crosswhite. Could possibly have gotten more. overthrows, but as soon as the ball was hit, Crosswhite running to the danger end, he took off, trying to bail his brother out of some pressure. You can see him there as soon as it was hit, down the track a long way.
Yeah, the fact that he was down the track a long way, Nikhil, makes it easier for him to cover the 22 yards.
This time cut and straight to the man, but it's put down. And it will go to the boundary as well for 4. So the Lashings, well, they've not done themselves any favors. A low total, and you've got to take chances like that when they're presented to you.
SoCal Lashings had done their homework to be bowling to Adam Crosswhite. It would have been the second time him trying to play that shot and getting out caught. The plan was there, execution was off. And dropping salt in the wound, it's also travelled for 4.
Well, he timed it so well, but look how far in the circle he was, the point fielder. And in the end, he just rushed onto him so quickly, and obviously paired with the good timing from Adam Crosswhite, it was always going to be a challenge. This time though, stylish, don't move, no one move. Just hold the pose on the cover of Dafa News. Back-to-back boundaries for Adam Crosswhite.
Now this was pure authority. Elmo Hutchinson immediately knew he's missed his mark. Adam Crosswhite, someone who thrives on room, gets a ton of room and a lovely length as well to just open the face of the bat and let the ball do the rest.
No, ball's back.
They actually went no distance for 6 given by the umpire, so now just 21 needed. You mentioned you needed just one big over to really see your team off.
11 runs of Elmo Hutchinson's over, which started with 2 balls where the batter was trying to sniff it out. Chin music.
This time, oh, flattens him on the ground. Elmo Hutchinson, he's been a very aggressive to Adam Crosswhite. The entire team has, but he gets out the way and it goes for a wide and 4 as well.
Yeah, followed the batter. Too good for the keeper too. 5 runs granted, even though it means a bit of a tumble.
It's a long way down for the big man. Adam Crosswhite did well. Luckily for him though, it was outside the line of the body. But it goes for 5 wides, and all of a sudden just 16 needed now. I think this game pretty much done and dusted.
Staying a handy knock. Adam Crosswhite 16 of 11. Every time he's been given an opportunity, he's performed.
Following him. This is good bowling from Hutchinson, who clearly is up the aggression. Probably some of that frustration from the Lashings now, who will be staring down the barrel of their 4th defeat. Some frustration creeping in. The angle going into the batter, following him.
Just get a feeling that, yes, he's done the right thing by following the batter. It's another option there for Hutchinson to try and knock the off stump off. Adam Crosswhite, even if it had stretched fully, hardly would have gotten to the off stump with a bat in hand. 16 of 12 for Adam Crosswhite. Nice little innings, just what the doctor ordered for Seattle Thunderbolts. Feeding the strike to James Crosswhite. And when the time came and the right ball came, didn't shy away from going for the big shot there, Adam.
So some discussion again by the umpires. The two coming together. So there's been a lot of stoppages in play in this second innings. And Harpreet Singh has called his fielders in. I think that's the end of the over. That's been the discussion. So a dot may have just getting the count right, the 2 umpires. That will bring us to the end of the 14th. 106 for 2. Well, the next weekend, of course, 2 exciting games coming to you from Morgan Hill, California. The Bay Blazers up against the Golden State Grizzlies, the Valley Strikers against the Surf Riders. Don't want to miss the action. Coming to you live on Willow TV and, of course, the MLC Network. Truly been treated to fantastic 4 days of cricket on this July 4th holiday weekend. Of course, a real significant holiday in the USA, and of course, great to have action, live action. Harpreet Singh will come back into the attack. It goes with a big shot, but it's off the top edge and taken. Gian Fernando makes no mistake on the edge of the circle. He's toiled hard, Harpreet Singh. Finally got in his man.
It's time to remove the words. It's time to remove the words called "I am not a regular bowler." It's not part-time anymore. Harpreet Singh's amongst wickets and he's troubled the batters more often than not. Good catch by Fernando, who kept a cool, calm head under this one.
So Singh finally strikes in his 3rd over, and it's the big wicket of James Crosswhite. Maybe just a little too late. Looking to hit over that infield into the smaller side. Got to depart. So Crosswhite gone for a well-played half century. Just 55 for him, 106 for 3. Into the closing stages of this innings, Rahul Singh comes to the middle.
Usually you'd see him bat up the order. Today, it's something that we've seen so often with Seattle Thunderbolts. They aren't afraid of rejigging their batting order depending on the situation.
Bowling right arm over.
Looks like it gets a little easier to do so while chasing, because you know exactly how much to get. A good start for Harpreet.
Dot delivery to first up to Singh. Two things I had questions about coming into this game about the Thunderbolts. They were sent in terms of asked to bowl first, losing the toss. They had only batted second once in this tournament. This was the wicket of James Crosswhite. Just one too many in the end.
Get down.
I think about two things, Suhas, as Adam Crosswhite, that knee collision, that looks bad, could be nasty. And looking to feel the ball off his own bowling, Harpreet Singh just collides straight into the left pad of Adam Crosswhite.
Adam Crosswhite couldn't get out of it, and that would have hurt his knee. And it's also hurt the head of the bowler. Adam Crosswhite's a little hurt.
A serious collision, serious incident. The one thing about those two men, they're not small by any means. Both big men, both big forces into each other.
It's good to see Harpreet back on his feet, and he's smiling as well. Adam Crosswhite still receiving some treatment. That sudden jolt to the knee, that left leg, that's what caused Adam Crosswhite to feel the pain. Harpreet was having his eyes on the ball, remember? Adam was within his rights to stay there as well, to allow that single to happen. Oh, Adam Crosswhite, off went the bat, and Harpreet's holding his neck right away. If there's some news emanating from there is the fact that Harpreet's fine. He'll continue to bowl.
But the key thing was the extension of the left leg. It's still giving him some problems, Adam Crosswhite, as he's clearly limping. But as you said, the best thing is that both of these players on their feet, looking to finish this game off with 15 needed. Yeah, awkward position for that knee to be forced into. And I mentioned it before, two big men, both Harpreet Singh and Adam Crosswhite. So power in that collision. Needs some Sunoco fuel to get them back to their feet.
Be interested to see how well can Adam run immediately after that. You want that effect to wear off, of course, but immediately after that, if a single's be stolen, be interesting to see that.
No.
I was making the point before the injury, no ball signal. How often do we see a front foot no ball from the umpire or from a spinner? So Big opportunity for Rahul Singh to get underway. Touch and go could be hard to see if someone was behind the line, but umpire Matin Imamdar opting to call that a no ball. And of course, it's so important in terms of something needing to be behind that crease. So free hit coming up for. It's now given a dead ball by Matin Imamdar. So not sure what would have inflicted the change in signal. Umpires have had a lot of work to do today in this second innings.
Imamdar, one of the best from Michigan.
So normal delivery, and it'll just be a single. If I can finally make the point about this batting lineup, this is the first, it's only the second time in this 5 games that they would have batted second. The Thunderbolts, well, showing that they have the makings, regardless of any situation, to be able to perform well.
Oh, here, Akash.
Beats Akash Singh. Will get a single, and Adam Crosswhite seems to be running pretty well. Gingerly.
Little gingerly, but he has got the fueling from Sonoko. Is only going to improve as he stays there a little longer. Of course, 14 runs required to be knocked off as far as Seattle Thunderbolts are concerned.
A dot from Harpreet Singh gets the wicket in that over. Just concedes 2 and picks it up. 14 needed. 1 for 3.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
Hey, Lucia. Any chance you can help me type a report?
Of course.
You are the best.
Oh, all this says is Q4 report. Hey, Trevor, how's that report coming?
It's going great. Working on it right now.
So this one could be done and dusted very soon. Kateni Clark, the man from New Zealand, the opening batter, who's been the leading run scorer for the Lashings in this tournament, comes into the attack. Another good showing from him with the bat today for the Lashings. 39 at the top of the order. But now we'll have a different role to play. The ball in hand. It's the leg spin option. Apologies for that break in transmission, but Clark will have the challenge of bowling to Adam Crosswhite, who you think maybe with that injury could just have poked the bear, awoken the monster. 14 runs needed. Could he finish it in this over? Oh, look at this. Over the head of Adam Crosswhite and Kateni Clark. You think about a loosener from the leg spinner. And it's gone over his head. It's not been given a no ball though. So clearly the umpires think it has to be over shoulder height as a spinner, but don't see the no ball signal from these 2 umpires.
Adam Crosswhite doesn't need to run for this one. The idea was to make him run. He's played a shot that Djokovic would be proud of.
So it's just been given as, we have it scored as the no ball, so waiting for the umpire to make the free hit signal. Definitely though, over the head of Adam Crosswhite. Nothing he could really do there with that delivery. Did the right thing actually, luckily for him. Less pace, and Kateni Clark, well, the poor guy, you know, part-time option. So just looking for the ball, have been a problem in that deep bush, deep forest of this Purview Cricket Complex.
And eventually the free hit's been given. Adam Crosswhite has another opportunity to go for a big shot here without worrying about many forms of getting a batter out.
Another full delivery this time. Down to that man, Akash Singh, who I still have big questions about. He's on the field fielding, your under 19 pro who's picked up 17 wickets in 15 games last year. Only given 1 over for 3 runs and a wicket this game. Very surprising, I think, the captaincy for Phillips.
Oh!
Rahul Singh happy to see it off. I wonder, did Dale Phillips maybe give his fellow countryman an over just to see if he could make something happen to leggy?
I would have seen him up close, of course. I just get a feeling, Akashveer, he might be 90% there, of course, but doesn't want to alleviate any injury. We saw him icing.
Icing Suhas, but I saw him warming up vigorously throughout every over. He's almost asking, begging for the ball. So
could that be a double bluff?
I don't think so. Why would you bluff with only 121 runs on the board? You're bluffing yourself. This time though, pulled. Another short pull down delivery. Rajip in the deep, overruns it. And it goes into the boundary for 4. They're just 4 runs away from winning and picking up their 4th win, the Seattle Thunderbolts.
A poor delivery. Didn't have to do much there. Rahul Singh, that's something he'll do day in and day out. Loves to go for the swivel. It's one of his favorite areas, deep backward square. As soon as he saw no protection there, it's easily put away.
So Clark, just 4 needed for victory now. Hasn't been the best of overs. The 5 no balls, the single, and then the boundary. I think Adam Crosswhite will want to finish it with a maximum or even a boundary. Wants to hit the winning runs though. Good showing from the middle order. I was worried about the over-reliance on Andres Gauss. Didn't fire today. Just 14 for him. 15 correction, but the rest did the part. Led by his brother James Crosswhite, of course. Rahul Singh, dot to end. 16 done, 118 for 3.
It's been a steady run chase. There were a couple of jolts. But that's only after a partnership was prospering. Andres Gauss was the first to go for 15. James Crosswhite batted exceptionally well for his 55. Rishi Bharadwaj had a very short stay. And Adam Crosswhite is battling pain as much as good bowling. 22 of 15 at the moment. Rahul Singh's out there having scored a boundary, 5 of 9. On the cusp of what would be another important victory. Seattle Thunderbolts.
Samuel Hutchinson will bowl his final over. 2 up front. Then bowled a decent over. It was expensive, but it was aggressive. Last one, his last over went for 16 runs. Just 4 runs needed from 4 overs. And they will be marching on to their 4th win. You can see there some of the Houston Hurricanes players actually getting to the ground. They'll be in action this afternoon, and not a quick turnaround for, well, sorry, a very quick turnaround for the Lashings, as they'll be in action later today against that home team. Boy, do they need a win. Need it desperately. Elmore Hutchinson just remarking his run. Trying to prolong what is the inevitable at this stage. Staring down the barrel of their 4th defeat, 2nd on the trot. They were massacred against the Athletics by 70 runs yesterday. Similar result today.
Elmore Hutchinson. We love the intent from him with the way he made James Crosswhite sniff a couple of deliveries.
On the right side, we'll have to rebowl that one. Hutchinson. Just 3 away now.
They're just a hit away from victory here. Seattle Thunderbolts, SoCal Lashings have a lot of thinking to do as they go back to the drawing board. It's important they pull their socks up as they are in a pool.
There it is, a wicket for the Lashings, a consolidation prize. Consolation prize, you could say, for Hutchinson. He goes slower Yorker and gets the wicket, but only 3 runs needed. Won't make much of a difference, but a good innings from Adam Crosswhite. Unfortunately, has to come to an end before he can hit the winning runs.
Good thinking for a man who's finding it a little difficult to collapse his back knee.
That it is. That it is.
A pinpoint Yorker and slightly slower as well. 119 on the board as the 4th wicket falls. It's Adam Crosswhite departing for 22.
Van Skartvik, Shadi Van Skartvik will come to the middle. Don't think you would have expected that he would have been needed with just 3 runs to win. But he won't mind the time in the sun. He likes to feature with both bat and ball. 20 wickets last year, 200 plus runs for the Thunderbolts. Haven't seen much of him with the bat in hand this season.
A different role for him this season, and he's been quite content accepting it with both hands. Shadley, many a time in a run chase, he wasn't even required with the bat in hand.
One thing to note, Runawera and Jagrup Raina were both left out of the team today for rotation purposes, and the fact that they were able to coast their way to this 121. Think about if they were batting first in the 17th over, they would have been well set up to get to 160 even, with firepower still to come. Raina was able to cross that 200 mark last season, so they have some very exciting times ahead in terms of this batting lineup. And overall, the Thunderbolts, I think they'll be very excited with the start in the first 2 weekends. Just 3 runs away now from victory. Off the mark straight away, Van Skartvik.
And Shadley makes his way to the middle because Adam missed out on a Yorker. Pinpoint Yorker at the base of the middle stump. Elmo Hutchinson getting it so right. Elmo Hutchinson's got a lovely release as well. Sidesteps a little bit. So you've got to align properly with the angle of the ball coming in so nicely.
Just 2 away. Possibly could be over in this very over. Getting fired in, but again down the leg side. Scores are level, and I think for the Lashings, the bowlers, it was always going to be difficult. I know some questionable decisions made by Captain Dale Phillips in his first game at the helm. With just 121 runs on the board, it was always going to be a challenge to defend. Clearly down the leg side, so just 1 needed now for the Thunderbolts.
One more run.
Yeah, Elmore Hutchinson, though, clear frustration on his face in the last 2 overs. He bowled a lot of those short deliveries. And there it is, the winning runs from Rahul Singh. And it means now that the Seattle Thunderbolts will pick up their 4th win, marching to a dominant position in this Western Division of the Pacific Conference, picking up their 4th of this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship by some 6 wickets. Lashings will be very disappointed now, 2-2. Still another game to come today. Need to pick up a victory, their 2nd. Still searching for it.
It's important that they don't let this game's result brush off on the 2nd one. They come in with all guns blazing. SoCal Lashings, for the moment, Seattle Thunderbolts win comfortably with 6 wickets in hand and plenty of overs to spare.
Yeah, 2 big wins in 2 days for the Thunderbolts. They'll also do a world of good for their net run rate. Yesterday, they were able to win in the 14th over, chasing down 108 today in the 17th. So, smiles all around for the team from the West Coast. And thinking, a lot of thinking to be doing for the Lashings. The Thunderbolts, well, dominant in the end. Well, a look at how things unfolded for the Seattle Thunderbolts. It was always going to be a relatively easy chase once they got off to a good start, and they did that, getting to 40 without loss in the first 6. Crosswhite stepping up for, instead of Andreas Gauss for the first time in the tournament, getting his first half century, and then his brother Adam Crosswhite, 2nd highest score with 22 through the middle to ensure they got over the line in the end, winning by some 6 wickets.
The SoCal Lashings tried their best, but the lack of wickets became major issue. Elmo Hutchinson did pick up Adam. That was towards the end though. Abhimanyu Rajput amongst the wickets to Akashvi Singh. Interestingly bowled only 1 over. And was someone who was looking terrific while he bowled those 6 balls. He picked up a wicket, but was never given the ball thereafter. Harpreet Singh picked up a wicket too. Katani Clark was expensive in the only over he was given.
Well, that would all that would be all she wrote in terms of for this one. The Thunderbolts, well, winning by some 6 wickets. Presented, of course, by James Crosswhite with his half century. Someone stepping up again in the top order with the bat in hand. Here's a look at how things would have unfolded for the Thunderbolts with the bat. Well, it was all about brute force early on against that new ball. Andres Gauss got a bit of fortunate things to go in his way in terms of some misfields here and there. Crosswhite, though, started edgy, started nervy with a couple outside edges. That one past the keeper. I think slip could have been in place early on. This time, much more confident as it goes past third man. Elmo Hutchinson tried to create something, went over point, was expensive. And well, Andres Gauss just checked his shot, managed the field so well as they bossed their way through the power play. Always going to be easy, knowing exactly what you need to chase. Crosswhite likes to play into the onside with that dominant bottom hand. And boy, did he do well for his team. First real return to runs for him, and one that would help his confidence in a big way. That was the wicket of Andres Gauss. There were questions asked in terms of was it outside the line. He was disappointed, but Akash Veer Singh had to give him the send-off. Just 1 over for Singh, but it didn't faze James Crosswhite too much as he continued to score, whether through the off and onside. And then it was just really the Crosswhite show as his brother came to the crease to join him. Rishi Bharadwaj didn't get much with the bat in hand, looking to cut, found the fielder, but that brought Adam Crosswhite, who was able to support his brother, getting to a half century, his very first, with that pull, beating the onside fielder with that shot. Then Adam Cross, a couple of lucky ones that went off the inner half, and this was a brilliant shot from Adam Cross. They had awoken a monster. Bad delivery from Elmo Hutchinson down the leg side, and then the wicket of James Crosswhite, a little too late, taken by Gian Fernando, you think, from the Lashings. This was a scary moment in the game where the two big men collided, Harpreet Singh and Adam Crosswhite. But luckily in the end, everyone was back to their feet and we had cricket, but looked serious at the start. Katani Clark brought into the attack, no ball and a hit for a boundary. So then they attacked the part-timer. Rahul Singh, who hit the winning runs, was able to play into the onside. And then just one consolation prize for Elmo Hutchinson with a good Yorker. In the end, winning by some 6 wickets pretty comfortably. The Seattle Thunderbolts chasing it down after their bowlers set up the win. 4 for Badogam, 3 for Harmeet Singh, and of course 2 for Fani Samadri. And with today's player of the match, the man himself, Akhilesh Badogam. Akhilesh, first of all, congratulations on the win. Must feel very good to pick up your 4th win and just 1 loss in this minor league so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think our team's looking really good this season. We have a good bunch of boys, and then we're gelling well together. And it's always good to get the momentum in the initial stage of the tournament so you can carry it all the way through.
Tell me about your personal performance this season. Last year, 15 wickets for the Atlanta 5. A different role for you this year, especially bowling 2 in the power play. How much have you enjoyed that added responsibility?
It's good always to contribute and play for your team. And I've spoken with my skipper. That's what he wants me to do. You know, squeeze in initially in the power play, get the team off to a good start so that, you know, we can get wickets again, keep getting wickets, and then we can restrict them to a good total. You mentioned the team, one of the definitely most formidable bowling attacks in the tournament, the Thunderbolts. You look at the mix of spin and pace. What has worked well for your bowling unit as a whole? I think everybody's been doing their roles as they've been assigned to. And I think the skipper and the coaching staff have been really clear on what roles have been assigned to the bowlers, and I think they've been doing their part really well.
And then the batting line side of things, how happy are you with the way Andres Gauss and now Crosswhite has started at the top, and how much does that give you all in terms of confidence with them starting the first 6 like that?
Definitely, Gauss is a very explosive batsman that we have top of the order, and it's good to see Crosswhite being amongst runs right now. And I think we bat really deep, so it's good signs for us.
You've taken another win in this holiday weekend. What does that do for the overall morale of the team now going back home to Seattle in terms of looking to the next weekend?
Definitely. I think we have a week off and then we go to LA again for 3 more games. But we came in here thinking we need to get 3 wins here, and we got the jobs done. But then we rest up, come back again, and keep doing the same thing.
Well, a new addition, Akhilesh Badogam, 4 for 29 today, and what an addition he's been to this Seattle Thunderbolts team. One of the main reasons why they're a different unit this year. 7 from 7 last season, but this year they're already 4 wins under the belt. Later today, don't go anywhere. The Lashings, who were just defeated, they'll be back in action against the home team, the Houston Hurricanes, coming to you live 2:30 p.m. CDT. We look forward to joining you in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco very soon. It's been a cracking first game and more to follow very soon. See you then.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco.
$210 or $215?